This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, hosted by Steven Daniels.
I know the whole city rising. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter college. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Steven D, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network, home of the #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a beautiful Tuesday, February the 7th of the year 2023, and we are live this morning on the MSM Podcast Network. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all. Hope y'all had a fine weekend. We took a 3-day weekend here at the castle. Yeah, we're enjoying life. It's a beautiful Tuesday. It's Hot Take Tuesday. As y'all know, Hot Take Tuesdays where we give our hot takes, and we got a lot of hot takes to go over, but let me do the rundown. I want to say good morning to my family with a PH and my Finlaws. Good morning to every single one of y'all. Super excited that y'all are here this morning. I am Steven Daniels. You can follow me on all social media at Steven D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Steven D SKPL. You can also follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter, where we are at MIA Sports Music. Want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? It's free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. When you do subscribe, there's that little bell notification. You see right below, there's the bell. Make sure you hit it, and make sure you hit all notifications, so that way you get notified anytime we go live, day, noon, or night. It doesn't matter. Anytime we go live, you will get notified via the all notifications bell. So make sure you guys have that bell switch turned on to all notifications. Want to remind you guys, if you want to sign up to become a member today, there are plenty of seats waiting at the table for you. If you look in the description below, you'll see the link, and I'm going to drop the link right now on Twitter, on the chat, on Twitter, on the chat, for you to sign up and become a member of the channel. Can we get 2 new members to the channel today? Would love to see new members to the channel. Would love to see it. So make sure y'all do that. Want to also remind y'all you can help the channel grow by donating. You can donate. There's a few different ways you can donate. If you're watching us live right now on YouTube, you can use the YouTube live super chat, which if you look at the chat where you chat in the chat, you'll see a rectangle box with a $sign in the middle. You can hit that. That's called the YouTube live super chat. If you're rewatching us and you're not watching us live right now on YouTube, you look below if you're rewatching us, and you'll see a heart with a $sign in the middle. It's called Super Thanks. Those are 2 ways that you can give on YouTube, whether you're watching us live or you're rewatching us. If you are watching us anytime, noon, day, or night, it doesn't matter. You can use Cash App or PayPal, $ MSM Podcast Network, or the QR code below, or MSM Podcast Network, or the QR code below. Want to remind you guys, as far as Cash App and PayPal are concerned, those are the only 2 ways you can get into the Super Bowl box pool. That's right. You're starting to see names getting filled up. We're in the last week. We need to fill this baby up. So please get your numbers. The numbers are starting to be filled up. We want to make sure that you get in there. So it's $25 per block, and a portion of the proceeds will go get donated toward the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. Want to remind you guys of that. But we need to start filling up these boxes. They're $25 per box. You can donate through Cash App and PayPal only. When you send in the money, make sure you send your name and the box number so that I can put into the box number. Please start filling this bad boy up. Share it. Let people know. If you go on Twitter, you can retweet it. If you go on Facebook, you can see it there. If you go on Instagram, you can see it there on any one of my platforms on social media. But we're trying to fill this bad boy up. So get your numbers now. That way we can get the numbers on the outsides filled in. But we can't do that until the boxes are filled up. So please get your box today. It's $25 per block, per box, whatever you want to say. And you see the payouts at the top left, under the first quarter, halftime, end of the third quarter, and final score. Okay? So make sure y'all do that today. Get your box. Want to finish the rundown by saying hello to our sponsors, ZSM Sports. ZSM Sports is the #1 place to get your cars, jerseys, balls, and hard-to-find items. They specialize in all sports memorabilia. Make sure you get ZSM Sports today and follow them on all social media. Hangry Owls, good food, good mood, craft subs and salads. We love Hangry Owls. They're located in Pembroke Pines. Make sure you give them a call at 305-279-5332 and follow Hangry Owls today at HANGRYALS. Vezasor. We love Vezasor. They have a great Super Bowl party being promoted out there. Make sure you guys go check out their Super Bowl party that they're having. Vezasor, born and raised, a beer created for the fans by the fans, the official beer of CLOCKBLOCKERS. And a great place to sit. If you guys need a great place to sit, you're going to the Super Bowl in Phoenix, you need a place to sit. A great place to sit.com is the place to go. So make sure you check them out today. The price you see is the price you get. And last but not least, Tail Greeter. We love Tail Greeter. Why is that? Because they have the best tailgate around. You need tailgates for NASCAR, football, baseball. Doesn't matter. Anywhere you tailgate in the world, Tail Greeter is the place to go to get to the exclusive tailgates. Download the app today. It's a free app on your current Apple or Android device today. All right. My nice thing about Apple today is definitely the video that was released yesterday by Apple Music with all the Dolphins fans, including our very own Allie, aka Dolph Freaky, singing "Stay." Rihanna's doing the halftime show for the Super Bowl. She flew out to the West Coast. She did a video with a whole bunch of other super fans from across the country. It's pretty funny. She's not in there long, but she is in there, and it's pretty dope. So Apple did that. So shout out to Apple. That's one nice thing to say about Apple. They had Allie in one of their videos, which is pretty cool, and it's a promotion for the Super Bowl halftime show, which is not sponsored by Pepsi anymore. It's sponsored by Apple Music. So Rihanna will be doing the halftime show this year. So that's pretty cool. So there's my one nice thing about Apple today. What's going on? Let me say hello to the people in the chat this morning. I'll start from the top up and go down. I got Dolphin JK. Dolphin JK, you need to get you signed up to become a member today. Ryan AP, Trucker Sean 1981. Chef Zhu is in the building. Good morning, OG, Stephen D, and everyone. How y'all doing this morning? Check your pulse. I agree. Who else we got up in here this morning? Miami Sports Fan 89. Ooh, I like that, man. Miami Sports Fan 89. What is going on? Good morning, Stephen and everyone. Who else we got up in here this morning? Cesar Diaz. What's up, Cesar? Good morning with your dumb butt. That's somebody who watches the show a lot. Like it. Zachary Waldrop. What's up, Zachary? How are you? Good morning to you. Duval in the building. What's up, Duval? Finn's in the house is in here. Like it. Finn's in the house this morning. We got Corey Walker. What's up, Corey Walker? Who else we got? Say hello in the chat. I'm saying hello to y'all. If y'all want to get in where you fit and say hello this morning. We got Bones. Good morning, Stephen D and Dolphins. What's up, Bones? How are y'all doing this morning? Eric Lee is in here too. What's up, man? What up, Eric? How's it going? Cesar, Zachary, Bones, Eric Lee, we got to get you signed up to the channel. Become a member to the channel. That top in the description, you'll see the link in there to sign up to become a member today. Zach Turk, what's up? Yo, Zach Turk. I like yo. What's up, Zach? Flipside Fishing is in the building. My man Flipside with the flex. Adam Sadowski. What's up, Adam? How are you this morning, man? I'm excited to see all y'all. What'd y'all do this weekend? Did y'all enjoy your weekend? I'll tell you what I did this weekend. So this weekend, Saturday morning, my son had a basketball game. Actually, in the afternoon, he had a basketball game. Was it the morning or afternoon? I forget which one, but either way, he had a game, scored a point, which was really cool. So that was pretty dope. Got to hang out with the family all day on Saturday. And Sunday, pretty much just chilled out, didn't do much. Watched some of the Pro Bowl, which was weird. The Pro Bowl games, the Pro Bowl games. There were some cool things about it. There were some that weren't. I don't know if I'm a fan or I'm not a fan of it, but it was different nonetheless. But I was waiting for that night to watch the NASCAR Clash, which I did. And Austin Dillon, if you're out there, I appreciate you wrecking my boy Bubba in the last few laps. How dare you, my boy Bubba? I like NASCAR, guys. I'm sorry. I like it. I bought a new truck. I'm in your neck of the woods, Steven. And you didn't call me, trucker. You could have said hello. You could have stopped by. Could have had a drink or a sandwich or something. Trucker Sean. I hope you got a cool truck, man. Yeah, man. So, I mean, that's pretty much what I did this weekend. I didn't do much. And then yesterday I worked on all, I worked on the podcast network, did a whole bunch of stuff to get ready for this upcoming season and try to, get stuff ready for that. And so, yeah, that's what I did this weekend. I worked, I hung out with the family, and I worked a little bit more, and I watched Bubba Wallace wreck because of Austin Dillon's dumb butt. Yeah, he's a dumb butt. But that's it. That's about all I did this weekend. And then, this morning it was kind of funny. I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I don't know if Nando's going to be on here this morning. I did ask Nando and a couple of other people to get up in here, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm going to talk about today. I want to get into it. I want to talk about, the Super Bowl preview, what you all think about the Super Bowl. I'm going to talk about potential free agents. I'm going to go dive through the top 25 free agents. And not all 25, but kind of, hey, where do I think that some of these people are going to end up? Where do I think they'd be a good fit? And then obviously, we'll talk some Dolphins news and I might open up the lines for you all to get up in here and say hello and say what's on your mind. So that's the plan for this morning on Hot Take Tuesdays. Again, it is Clock Blockers, home of the #1 Miami fan morning show. And the Super Bowl is this week. It is Super Bowl week. I love Super Bowl week. Why do I love Super Bowl week? Because, it has its pros and its cons. The con is it's the last week of professional football. Although, look, the USFL and XFL are starting up in a couple of weeks. So, there's that. But I'm not in love with it the way I am with pro football. So it has that there. But I enjoy the Super Bowl because it's an event within itself. My son's birthday is on Sunday. And I was like, look, all right here. The Super Bowl's at 6. So your birthday is till 6 o'clock. When 6 o'clock hits, it's Super Bowl Sunday then. So my son's birthday has to 9-year-old birthday has to compete with the Super Bowl. That's how big the Super Bowl is. It takes over everything, and I enjoy it. And for all intents and purposes, it's a pretty good game. The Philadelphia Eagles facing the Kansas City Chiefs in Glendale, Arizona. The game will be on Fox. It starts, I think, 6:30's kickoff. And both teams are 14-3. Both teams are the #1 seed. Both have, MVP candidates at the quarterback position with Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts. Both teams have decent players on offensive side of the ball and defense, and the offensive lines look good. It depends. Mahomes has been nicked up a little bit this year or in the last couple of weeks. Chad Henne had to come in for a drive, drove his team down the field 98 yards, by the way, during the playoffs. I just want to put that as Dolphin fans in the back of our mind. I know it hurts, but Chad Henne is on his way to a second Super Bowl victory, potentially. That's just so weird to say. Remembers Chad Henne being the quarterback of our team and me thinking, this guy is great. He's going to do it. He's the guy. So, I don't know. Obviously, that never came to fruition for us. He did end up winning. He's going to win a Super Bowl. He did. Not for us, though. So, that's what it is. Look, for all the fun on offense and all the wonderful things Jalen Hurts can do, the Eagles' pass rush is going to be the biggest issue for the Chiefs. I go back to the Chiefs Buccaneers Super Bowl. And I remember that the pass rush for the Chiefs to the Buccaneers that day is the reason that the Chiefs won that game against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. And it's, to me, like, that'll be what it is. Mahomes and company have no problems getting into a shootout. And when they want to, they got the ability to grind it out a bit, control the clock. And what they can do is expect a mediocre wide receiver to make big things happen downfield. A high ankle sprain just doesn't heal up in a couple of short weeks. Mahomes proved that he could play on it without a problem, but it's still going to be he's going to be a different quarterback a little bit playing against the Eagles pass rush. He's going to have to move around. He's going to have to make some magic happen, so it'll be interesting. He is a great pocket passer, but he has to rely on his run game. And that didn't do anything against Cincinnati. And he has to come up with a ton of quick hitting strikes to get the ball to guys on the move. Travis Kelce, going to be the guy on Sunday for the Super Bowl. Going to be the guy, that helps Mahomes. He's going to be his safety net. Expect a lot out of Isaiah Pacheco. Watch out for Jerick McKinnon to be unleashed. He's not done a whole lot the first couple playoff games, but I got to believe that they're going to get him involved here. Sky Moore, Marcus Valdez-Scantling. I mean, there's got to be somebody from the Chiefs that has not had a big playoffs that steps up besides Kelce. It is the only way that Mahomes will be able to control the offense and keep the offense on the field. And this might be a part where Tyreek Hill not being there plays a big part. They got to the Super Bowl without Tyreek. They were 14-3 without him. But can they win the big game without him? That's going to be because with the exception of Kelce, there's not any primary targets that Mahomes has to go for. And I think that's going to play a big part of it. So we'll have to see. Now, as far as the Philadelphia Eagles are concerned, this is not going to be, like I just stated a little bit ago, it's not going to be like the Tampa Bay defensive front when Kansas City and Tampa Bay was in the Super Bowl, but it's not going to be far off. Sky Moore, Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster. Philadelphia is exactly preparing for who's who of an elite Chiefs pass catchers here. Okay. Now, I know that we kind of discussed, hey, somebody's got to step up, but is Sky Moore, is Scantling, or Schuster, or any one of them going to step up? We're going to have to see on Sunday. Kadarius Toney's hurting. Hardman is hurting. And Kelce is about to experience 2 weeks of the second best defense in the NFL preparing for him. Back to the whole thing about Mahomes needing to get the ball out. The Eagles were prepared for that for the 49ers. I mean, the 49ers could not run. Look, Christian McCaffrey had some moments there, but that's all that San Francisco had for Philadelphia. And we saw what happened in that game. It did not matter what San Francisco ran, whether they got a touchdown or not. The offense was not explosive enough for them to compete with Philadelphia's offense or defense for that matter. It just wasn't. Mahomes and the Chiefs led the NFL in pass attempts, in yards per pass attempt, but Philadelphia's defense led the NFL in fewest yards per pass attempt. So again, Philadelphia's defense, y'all, I've said this for weeks now. Defense wins championships. And my personal opinion is if Philadelphia is going to have any chance in this Super Bowl, their defense is going to have to step up. Okay. They have to. Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to be another X factor for this thing, right? Kansas City's defense is no slouch either. Kansas City's defense is really good too. So look, it's going to come down, in my opinion, for the Super Bowl on Sunday. Who has a better defense? Is it Kansas City or is it Philadelphia? And the team that has the better defense, I think, will be more than likely to win, because let's call a spade a spade. Mahomes and Jalen, they're two really good quarterbacks, and they're two really good quarterbacks that at a moment's notice can take their team on a 3rd and long, and then all of a sudden it's not 3rd and long anymore. It's 1st down and 10 because they made a big play. You're never counted out with those two guys at quarterback when they take the helm. So I think this will be a very exciting Super Bowl personally. I'm not quite ready to give my prediction yet. What I will say, the over-under for the Super Bowl is 50.5 points. And Philadelphia at the moment is currently favorite by 1.5 points. I don't know who to take at this particular moment. I'm gonna reserve my pick till Thursday. Now, if you're asking me about the over-under, again, y'all know I'm not a betting man. but I'm probably going to say it's going to be the under. I don't think the over will be hit. It'll be very interesting to see that. And I think whoever the MVP is going to be will be the winning quarterback, even though it'll be a defensive game, because that quarterback will have to held onto the ball, not turned it over, either ran it in or had a couple of touchdowns. Look, I think that that'll be the case. Now, I want to talk about legacy here for a minute. If Patrick Mahomes wins a second Super Bowl, and how many years has he been in the league? 5 or 6? If he wins a second Super Bowl in that short amount of time, I have to believe that Patrick Mahomes automatically gets into top 7 quarterbacks of all time. All time. If he wins this Super Bowl on Sunday, he's top 7 all time. I don't know if I'm quite ready to put him in the top 5, but you can make an argument for it. But he would be top 7 all time. No doubt in my mind. If he wins the Super Bowl on Sunday. He'd be there. He would be there. 2 Super Bowl wins. Like for, look, here's the funny part. So we talk about Super Bowl wins and we talk about great quarterbacks. You can win 1 Super Bowl and I think get away with being an average quarterback. You win 2 Super Bowls, with the exception of Eli, okay? You have to be a pretty damn good quarterback to win 2 Super Bowls. You have to be top of your game, some of the best in the business. Okay? If Patty Mahomes wins the Super Bowl on Sunday, he would have been to 3 Super Bowls and won 2 of them? Come on, you automatically got to put him up there. You have to. You have to. So that's my opinion of it. Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl on Sunday. Is he the best quarterback of his draft class? Does he go to the top of his draft class? Now, we know, obviously, who's in his draft class, right? Probably because Super Bowls count for something. They count for something. Again, let's call a spade, right? You got, out of the Herbert, Burrow, Tua, Hurts, does Hurts automatically go to the top because if he wins a Super Bowl on Sunday? I think you can make the argument that yes, he becomes. But if you're asking me who would I rather have, Burrow or Hurts, even if Hurts gets a Super Bowl on Sunday, I think I would go with Burrow over Hurts. Personal opinion. But those are things that, from a standpoint of legacy and how this will be perceived and how quarterback rankings will be in the NFL, or who would you want, that'll come into play after the game on Sunday. That will happen. Another little cool storyline, which I think, I don't know, I just think it's really cool. The Kelsey brothers playing in a Super Bowl against each other. Jason and Travis. Both of them having a Super Bowl win already. Now they're both in another Super Bowl and, having an opportunity to win a second ring for both of them, Jason and Travis. Now, Travis, this will be his 3rd. Jason, I believe this will be his 2nd Super Bowl. Who is Mama Kelsey rooting for? She's saying she's neutral. I would have to think she's probably rooting for Travis because Travis has already lost a Super Bowl. And I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. But it is still pretty cool. I watched a little bit last night of the ESPN Super Bowl opening night where all the players are in the stadium. By the way, those hats were fire. I did like those hats, the Super Bowl hats. Those were pretty cool. I watched it last night, and it was just pretty cool to see Jason and Travis there with their mom. And I mean, that's a pretty cool sports story. 2 brothers, 2 great brothers, 2 potential Hall of Fame players. Jason has a big chance to make the Hall of Fame, and Travis obviously does. Travis, at the end of the day, he could be one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. So, and the records and the numbers will be there when it's all said and done. So it'll be very interesting to see that whole ordeal play out. I could say now who I think will win and who I'll be rooting for, two different things. I'm not going to tell you who I think is going to win. Who I'll be rooting for on Sunday. I've played pros and cons to this. And I think personally for me, I'd rather see Kansas City win because I enjoy watching Patrick Mahomes play. So I will be rooting. At the end of the day, I won't care, but I will be rooting for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's where I'm at. I think that's where my head's at. I like Travis Kelce. I like the Chiefs organization as a whole. I like Andy Reid. By the way, Andy Reid facing Philadelphia in a Super Bowl. How funny is that? Him being, in there as a long tenured head coach with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he also coached them in a Super Bowl, but never won one. But yeah, it's very. There's a lot of storylines throughout this Super Bowl. I think that the Super Bowl within itself will be a good game. I think the under will hit, not the over. It'll be very interesting to see. What do y'all think in the chat? Who are y'all rooting for? Not asking who you think's going to win. Who will you be rooting for on Sunday? Put it in the chat. And I'm interested, the 50.5 points over under. Do you think the over or the under will hit? So in the chat, put who you're rooting for and if you think the over or the under will hit. Just interested to know what you guys think in the chat. And who you will be rooting for on Sunday. What storylines are you interested in seeing? Put it in the chat right now. I want to hear from you. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Trucker Sean says, don't care. Solo Boy says Eagles. Caslin 143 says the over will hit. I Am Touche says Kansas City. We're all over the place. If both teams could not show up and forfeit, it would be more interesting than this game. Hashtag tank for Caleb. Is this who I think it is? Hashtag tank for Caleb. Is this level 2 noob? I'd be interested to know if this was level 2 noob. Manza Chill says fins up. Unfortunately, they're not playing on Sunday, Manza. I wish they were. I will tell you, watching last night and watching the media day, I do dream of the day the Dolphins playing in a Super Bowl and having their own media day and just being there. And, that's what I think. Miami Sports Fan 1989 says 50. So you think the under and Chiefs. Manza Chill says 31-28. All right. So 59 points there. So you think the over is going to hit, and you got the Eagles. 59 points in the Eagles. That's a lot. That's a lot. When you don't care, you can enjoy the game that much more. I believe that, Trucker Sean. I 100% believe that. I'll tell you, the day I stopped betting on games, I enjoyed games a lot more. That's just me personally. All right. Fangio, by extension, Eagles. Manalo says, well, I will say the last time we had a coach win a Super Bowl and then come to the Dolphins, it didn't work out very well for us. So I'm going to say Chiefs because I want them to win the ring with us. Well, Steven, it won't happen with Tua, so keep hoping. LOL. Both teams are high-powered offense. Steven, what I meant is I'm rooting for both teams only because the Dolphins aren't in it. You want to see a good game. I think that's what we all want to see when it's all said and done. We just want to see a good game. Hashtag tank for Caleb. I want the Eagles to win so Dolphins Twitter explodes into a debate. Not enough tears this offseason so far. This is definitely level 2 noob then. Zachary Waldrop says Tyreek Hill catching passes from T-Law looked right. Miami needs to send him to the 904. Man, it was no, that doesn't need to happen. No, sir. No, sir. Zachary, are you a Jaguars fan? Zachary, that's what that sounds like. Got Jags fans infiltrating the Dolphins here this morning. I see. That's okay. That's okay. We're not mad at you. We don't blame you for Duval's fun. We like Duval County, but that's about as far as it goes. All right. Another thing that I want to get into this morning. I want to talk about potential free agents, where I think they might land, how they would be a good fit, pros and cons. And will the Dolphins be interested in any of these potential free agents? So that I want to get into that this morning a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to get into NFL upcoming free agents. A lot of people over the last few days have talked about it. It'll be very interesting to kind of see the NFL and foreign teams. The 22 salary cap will be set at 224.8 million per sources. Teams have been aggravated with the lack of clarity on that. They normally get a cap range in December. This should allow them to start real negotiations with their free agents. I think what Albert Breer meant by that was 2023, but 224 million. It'll be very interesting. Zachary says, I'm just here for the donations. I'm not mad at you, Zachary. So there's a lot of people that'll be very interesting to see. Here are some potential top free agents. Juju Smith-Schuster, who'll be playing in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Odell Beckham, Jacoby Myers, Darius Slayton, DJ Chalk, Alan Lazard, McCole Hardman, Jarvis Landry, Julio Jones. And it would have been A.J. Green, but A.J. Green retired from NFL football yesterday. He had a great career. Big shout out to A.J. Green. It was a lot of years he was with Cincinnati and Andy Dalton. Very interesting to kind of see. So I went to Pro Football Focus, went and looked at their top, list of free agents. And, I want to go through. I'm going to pick and choose the ones I really want to talk about. And I'll start with one and go down. So the first person they have up there is Lamar Jackson. They're expecting Lamar 5 years, 260 million, 52 million per year with 208 million total guaranteed. Look, he was the MVP in 2019. He's an open field runner. I think he's a better pocket passer than people give him credit for. I don't think he's ever truly had a wide receiver in Baltimore. Will Lamar get the contract from Baltimore? Here's what I think Baltimore will do with Lamar. I think they will franchise tag him for a year. It makes sense for Baltimore to do that. Will they shop him? Probably. But he is going to cost 2 to 3 first-round picks. Then you have to give him a bag of $50 million a year plus. And a lot of it has to be guaranteed money. Up front, mind you. So he wants to be paid. So I think Lamar Jackson, when it's all said and done, the odds of him spending another year with the Ravens, I think, are more likely than not. But where are teams that I think he could go? I think the Jets, the Raiders, the Seahawks. I mean, any one of those teams could easily pick up the phone and say, I want you. The Seahawks, most definitely. The Seahawks have so much capital. They can do a lot of whatever they want. They have so much capital. Do I think Lamar wants to be a Raven? No. I think he's actually fed up and pissed off at Baltimore. And Steve Buscemi, who's the owner of the Ravens, personally, that's what I think. But I think whoever pays him, he'll play for. So do I think that the Jets will try to make a run at him? Of course I do. Do I think the Raiders will? Of course I do. I think there's an outside shot Seattle tries. It'll be interesting to kind of see what happens there. But Lamar being potentially on the market, period, teams will call and inquire and make some, ask. But yeah, man's a chill. Lamar at Seattle would be insane. And I could totally see Pete Carroll wanting to go after him. They have the capital to do it. They got all those picks for Russell Wilson. 100% think Seattle could go after him. The number 2 on their list is none other than Geno Smith. Geno Smith is projected 4 years, $150 million, $37.5 million, $112 million total guaranteed. These are projections, by the way. Okay. Imagine before the season began, Drew Lock was in Seattle. And Geno Smith was a top-tier free agent. It's unreal, the season that Geno has. One of the things that I will say is Geno showed the NFL and showed the Seattle Seahawks, this man can play. 100% this man can play. Number 2, can you build around him? That is still a question mark and debatable. But what I'll say is Seattle, for the most part, was very interesting to watch this year. I'm not saying they were always fun to watch, but they were interesting. They were an interesting team. They made the playoffs with Geno Smith. And if you remember at the beginning of the year, I did my top 32 quarterbacks. I had Geno Smith last. Again, another hot take that I was wrong with. I can admit when I'm wrong. And Geno Smith, I don't know how many people thought he would be good this year, but I can guarantee you 99% of y'all did not think Geno Smith would have the year that he had. He caught everybody off guard, as Minshew Mafia says. And it'll be interesting. Do I think that he'll have another great year the way he had this year? No, I don't. Do I think that the Seattle likes Geno? He's a great guy off the field. He's a great person in the clubhouse. But there's a reason. Well, there are plenty of reasons that you let go of Russell Wilson. And I'm telling you right now, if Seattle, with all their capital, have a chance to go out and get Lamar Jackson, or they have a chance to go out and get Aaron Rodgers, I think that they'll use the capital they have to go after somebody like that. Personal opinion. Because they have some other weapons on their team that you're like, wow, this is interesting. I'd like to see where it goes. I'm interested to see what happens with Sean Desai. Is Sean Desai going to stay in Seattle? Is he going to come on Vic Fangio's coaching staff? We're going to find out in the next couple of weeks. I'd be very interested to see. But if Desai stays in Seattle, I mean, that defense is going to be interesting. So Geno Smith, I personally think he'll look for a big contract. Unless he wants to stay in Seattle and Seattle says, we're not going to pay you anything big, but if you take a hometown discount, and I put that in quotations, you take a discount, we'll keep you here. I don't see them paying him $150 million. That would be insane. Anthony says, Steven, I don't think Baltimore is going to use the franchise tag on Lamar. I think they're going to put him on the transition tag on him and then find a team who's willing to extend him. Yeah, entirely plausible. Remember, there's franchise tag, transition tags. They're going to put a tag on him. That much I'm sure of. What type of tag? To be determined. All right. Here's one. Number 4 on the list. Jesse Bates, the safety out of Cincinnati. He's going to be projected 5 years, $75 million, $40 million total guaranteed. Here's why I think this is interesting. He has a very good chance of reaching unrestricted free agent instead of Cincinnati used the franchise tag on him last offseason. And they never made a serious multi-year offer. And I don't think Jesse's a huge fan. Now, if I'm correct and if I know the rules correctly, and maybe I don't, you can use the franchise tag 2 off seasons, but you can't do it a third. I think you can do 2 off seasons. Jesse, from all intents and purposes of everything that I heard, is pissed at Cincinnati. So I'm interested to know where Jesse ends up. And here's where I think he could end up. You go look at any of the top tier defensive coordinators this year. Could you imagine Jesse Bates and Javon Holland on the same field? Do I think the Dolphins go after him? I think they take a flyer and look to see if it's possible. Will the money be there? Again, you all know how I feel about the salary cap to begin with. But I just, for the sake of conversation, I want you to imagine Jesse Bates and Javon Holland at safeties on the same field. Come on. That would be beautiful. His 76.8 PFF grade this season ranked him 13th at his position. He was 84.8 on run defense, top 5 mark. he played over 1,000 snaps. I mean, look, I think that I would love him. He's healthy. He's somebody that stays healthy. He's a leader on the field. He's a leader off the field. I would love to see Jesse Bates in a Miami Dolphins uniform. Do I think it'll happen? No, I don't think it'll happen. But would I love to see it? Of course I would. Would 100% love to see Jesse Bates in a Dolphins uniform. I think it'd be very, very, very fun to see. Next is number 5 on PFF's list is Jamal Dean, the cornerback out of Tampa Bay. 4-year projected. This is what he's projected. 4 years, $68 million, $17 million per year with 47.5 guaranteed. Look, I think nobody big that has a chance to nobody big that's from Tampa Bay, I think is really going to return. Tampa Bay is going to be interested in a quarterback. And there's a couple of them that I think could end up there. You know, don't get it twisted. Derek Carr, 100% could end up in Tampa. Aaron Rodgers, 100% could end up in Tampa. But you got to remember what they would have to give up to get some of these guys and the money they'd have to pay them. And again, none of these names are what Tom Brady was. And so if they're going to have to move all this money around, somebody that's a cornerback like Jamal Dean, who I also think would be an amazing addition to the Miami Dolphins. Again, I don't think he'll end up in Miami, but I want you all to just think about it, okay? Jamal Dean added as a corner to what's already here in the building. Come on. Again, $17 million a year. Maybe, just maybe he says, man, Fangio, somebody I'd like to play for. Maybe I'm willing to take less than 17 per year. And again, we all know that Greer's a mastermind. He could easily give him a $17 million signing bonus and make it a 2. Like, we know how he's a magician at the cap. And make the numbers work where he ends up coming in on this year's hit will be $4 million or $3.5 million or $2.5 million. He's done that. He can do that. There's a lot of maneuvering that would have to take place. But again, Jamal Dean on a $3 million cap hit with a huge signing bonus, upfront money, I would take that. Again, that's somebody who stays healthy. He plays a lot of snaps. He stays healthy. He plays a lot of snaps. That's all I care about. Stay healthy, play a lot of snaps. That's my big thing on defense in the secondary this year. Would love to see Jamal Dean added to our defense. Do I think it'll happen? No, I don't. But I don't think he ends up back in Tampa Bay either, and I don't see Tampa Bay putting any tags on him. So Jamal Dean will definitely be somewhere different next year as a corner. And I don't know where he'll go, but he'll definitely be different next year. Another linebacker, Levante David from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. His projection is 2 years, $22 million, $11 million per year, $15 million total guaranteed. 100% could see him in a Dolphins uniform next year. Why? Because Fangio loves linebackers. And Fangio, if I think he'll do anything, and I think the Dolphins will make any huge moves, it'll be at the linebacker position this offseason. Miami, here's what I'm guaranteed to say. Out of this top 10 PFF list, I'm confident the Dolphins will get and go, or I don't say they'll get, but they will go hard. They will aggressively go after one, if not two of these people on the top 10 list. 100%. They did last offseason with Emmanuel Ogbah, even though he was with us. They did last offseason with Teron Armstead, even though he was with us. Greer will make the money work, and he will bring in some of these he will try to bring in some of these potential free agents. And I think that they'll want to come here. South Florida, beautiful weather. The team is looking like it's going to be stacked. He got Fangio playing on the defensive side. So Levante David, I think, would do wonders here. Okay? I think he would do wonders here. I understand that his age is up there. But man, Levante David, I think, is a step up from any other linebacker that we have currently on the roster. Would you all agree? Would you not agree? I'd be interested to know. I would like to see Levante David. Any major linebacker has a potential to be in playing for a Fangio defense. So I'm interested to know what you think about Levante David. And he, again, will not be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer next year. Would love to see him. Jacoby Myers, wide receiver of the New England Patriots, 4 years, $64 million, $16 million per year, $40 million guaranteed. I understand that New England doesn't have a wide receiver. Again, this is somebody that do I think that the reason I even talk about it is, do I think he will end up re-signing with New England? It depends on how New England feels about him. In my opinion, if New England felt any way about him, they would have extended him last offseason when they got Devontae, our old number one. Why am I'm having a brain fart here is news to me because I know his name. But yes, do I think that he will? Devontae Parker. Do I think that he will? No. I'm going to say Miami's not touching him with a 10-foot pole, so I wasn't even bringing that up for that reason. But I don't think the Patriots are going to re-sign him either. And I think $16 million per year, that's a lot of money for a guy who hasn't really produced. So I'm going to say Jacoby Myers is a free agent, doesn't get that money, but does go somewhere else. But it won't be to New England. Will not be to New England. Next, number 8 on the list, Orlando Brown Jr. of the Kansas City Chiefs, the offensive tackle. Last offseason or 2 off seasons ago, I really wanted the Dolphins to go after Orlando Brown in a trade. There was discussion, there was whispers, but nothing ever came to fruition. 5 years, $105 million, $21 million per year, $70 million guaranteed. He threatened to hold out the 22 season, but following a franchise tag saga that didn't accumulate into a long-term deal. Brown turned a slow start into a strong second half. He had an 88.7 block grade according to PFF here. He may not become one of the game's true top tackles, but I think he's somebody that I would love to see in a Dolphins uniform. Absolutely love to see Orlando Brown with Teron Armstead in a Dolphins uniform next year. And then Connor Williams also being there. To me, that would shore up, I would love to see those 3 guys, play together, healthy, mind you. But I'd love to see Orlando Brown do it. I think he's the top free agent on the offensive line side. And if Miami cares one iota about, making sure that this offensive line is shored up and healthy, you got to go after a big name on the offensive line. Do I think they will? I don't know yet. I don't know how they're going to address the O-line. Right now, you've had 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years. If I'm honest with you, I don't think they've ever truly addressed the offensive line the way that they needed to. They tried to last year, but Teron had his red flags, and they came to fruition this year. So I just don't think as a fan, I'm very disappointed with a lot of the moves that they've made. I think they've tried in some places and they just have not worked out. But even the places that they tried had red flags to them. Teron had red flags. Love him to death. Glad he's a Dolphin. Glad the Dolphins went after him last year. They tried to do something with a big name free agent. You got to keep on doing it till it works. And in my opinion, Orlando Brown, granted, he would cost a lot of money. But I would love to see him nonetheless in a Dolphins uniform. And I think at minimum, the Dolphins, if he ends up being a free agent, which I think he will be, I think that they'll at least have a discussion about him in a Dolphins uniform. I don't know where Orlando Brown ends up. Do I think he stays with the Chiefs? I do not. I do not think Kansas City is able to re-sign him. I think he's pissed off at Kansas City. They didn't give him a multi-year deal. They franchise tagged him. That was a big off-season last season. So it'll be interesting. I personally would love to see Orlando Brown in a Dolphins uniform. That's just my opinion. All right, Mike McGinley. offensive tackle for the 49ers. Projected 4 years, $62 million, 15.5 per year. He hasn't quite lived up to a top 10 billing coming out of the 2018 draft, but he's a quality starter. He is a quality starter. He has returned from a torn quadriceps in 2021, and he's dealt with various minor injuries over the years, but has done well to avoid missing much time. He does have an injury bug, but he doesn't miss a lot of time per se. He did have that big one in 2021. Here's the problem with offensive linemen. They're so big, right? They're big guys. They're big fellas. And one of the things that this team over the last 2 years has been at the top end, the Dolphins, is injuries. Anybody we bring in, you have to understand injuries happen in football, and there's going to be some sort of the odds of bringing in somebody at any position with almost no injury history at all is slim to none. I understand Orlando Brown's injury prone. I understand McKinley is injury home, but they're two of the top 10 best tackles in the game, or free agents that are going to be available. You don't have to trade for them. You don't have to give up any assets. You just have to make the money work. And we know that Greer can do that. All intents and purposes, Greer's never given us a reason to think that he's not going to go out and make the money work. And we know that Stephen Ross is handing out blank checks so we can make the money work. I hear you on the injury thing with Orlando Brown, and I kind of hear you here with McGinley. But the question goes to we need to address the offensive line. We all agree with that. And in order to do that, you're going to have to take some flyers. And that's what the Dolphins did with Teron Armstead last year. And that's what I also believe they're going to have to do, whether they go out and try to get McGinley, try to get Orlando Brown. But I would love to see one of those two guys in a Dolphins uniform next year. Do I think they will be? I don't know. McGinley, definitely. The 49ers have a really good thing there. And John Lynch is, he's a great GM. I think it's very likely that the 49ers could definitely re-sign McGinley. That would be somebody that I could see the 49ers keeping. And so it's a lot more it's more likely that McGinley stays with San Francisco more than it is with Orlando Brown staying with the 49ers. Just want to throw that out there. Running back, number 11 on the list, Josh Jacobs of the Las Vegas Raiders. He's projected to go on a 1-year deal, around $10 million fully guaranteed. As long as the Dolphins do not pay him 1 year, $10 million guaranteed, I am all for it. You can pay him 1 year, $9 million. You can pay him 1 year, $11 million. But if it has 10 in the number anywhere, do not do it. As a matter of fact, make it 9.5 and below, or 11 million or above. I don't want to see $10 million contracts for 1 year anywhere. Look, I would love to see Josh Jacobs in a Dolphins uniform. He's one of the guys. There's a few running backs that I would like to see down in Miami. I'm not saying all of them. I just want one of them. I'd like to see it. I would love to see it, actually. So it'll be very interesting. But I don't want to skip over this contract or this comment. Caslin says McGinley was ranked last in pass blocking onto his blind side. Not good. Again, very interesting. He's still considered a top-tier free agent at the tackle position. I personally think he still stays with San Fran, but we'll see. Andre says Pro Football Network was a consensus in mobile that Las Vegas Josh Jacobs will be franchise tagged by the Raiders. I have no idea what the Raiders will do. And if you think that you have an idea what the Raiders are going to do, your guess is as good as mine. So that franchise right now to me is just very interesting to see. Would I like to see Josh Jacobs or the next person on this list, Saquon Barkley? Yeah. Because I don't think that here's the thing. Most teams in the NFL are not giving a long-term deal to a running back. Running backs do not get long-term deals. According to Pro Football Focus, Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, who are 11 and 12 on this list, are both projected 1 year, $10.9 million fully guaranteed contracts. They're not projected anything more than that. Saquon has already admitted that he's not going to get market value of what he should get because of his injury history and what he's produced. If I can get Saquon at 13 mil or 12 mil, I'm doing it. Same thing with Jacobs. I am going after Jacobs or Barkley. 100% would love to see them in a Dolphins uniform. And they'll both be unrestricted free agents, I think. I look, if Josh Jacobs gets a franchise tag, I'd be very surprised if they tagged him in Vegas. I would be 100%. Be very. Who franchises tag a running back unless their name is Marshawn Lynch back in the day or Derrick Henry? I don't think. Steven, the Dolphins are like a headache. They make good moves, but then they make you say, ouch, my head. Coming off a career year, you're overpaying for Jacobs. This team hit the lottery? I don't know. Barkley, another hurt guy. Sheesh, Money Mitch says. Again, if you throw a rock out into the pond, you're going to hit water. Same thing with 90% of these free agents. They're free agents for a reason. And a lot of them have injury bug history. But you need to address people with free agency. And the Dolphins need to address the running back. They need to address the secondary. They need to address the linebackers and the offensive line. They're going to get a couple of free agents. And I guarantee you one or two of them will have an injury history. That's just what they do. I'm not saying it's the way they should go, but we all know that's the MO. Raheem Mostert, injury history. But when that man is healthy, he's one of the best running backs. I think he has the potential to be one of the best running backs. When he's healthy, fully healthy, which doesn't happen often. But you took a flyer. That's what it is. But again, I would love to see Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley in a Dolphins uniform next year. All right, number 14 on this list. Cornerback James Bradbury of the Philadelphia Eagles. 2 years, $24 million, $12 million per year, $16.5 million guaranteed. Bradbury is an interesting name for a corner position because I like him. I think he brings very good. Bradbury is likely a best at number 2 after years of proving himself to be a reliable number 1, but there will be a huge market for him. He's proven to be adaptable, reliable, and available throughout his NFL career. This season marked his 4th campaign with over 1,000 snaps. He's healthy. He stays healthy. He's somebody that can shore up that corner position. Bradbury should be somebody that the Dolphins should look at. But I think you want to talk about somebody who's going to get a bag. I think corner-wise, Bradbury will get a bag. 100% would think he'll get a bag. I don't know if he'll stay with Philly. It's entirely plausible. If Philly loses the Super Bowl, I think Bradbury could get the bag from Philly. But if Bradbury wins the Super Bowl with Philly, Philly's not going to re-sign him, in my personal opinion. But I would love to see Bradbury in a Dolphins uniform. All right, Jawan Taylor, offensive tackle for the Jaguars. Taylor had a career year as a pass protector, earning his highest pass blocking grade with the 76.4 that landed him in the top 25 among tackles this year. Taylor allowed pressure on just 2.5% of the drop packs from Trevor Lawrence this year, the 3rd lowest mark among tackles in the NFL. Though quarterback Trevor Lawrence lightning quick 2.51 second average throw time certainly helped. However, Taylor's 76.7 pass block grade on true pass sets 14th among tackles. All right, so he's projected 4 years, $57 million, 14.25. So here's a question I'd like y'all in the chat right now. Would you rather spend 13 mil on Jawan Taylor, or would you rather overpay for Orlando Brown or the guy for the 49ers, McKinley? McKinley and Orlando Brown. Orlando's going to cost you 20 mil. McKinley's probably going to be in the neighborhood of 16 to 18 mil. But then you could go with Jawan Taylor, who's going to be probably 12 to 14, maybe 13 to 15, if I'm honest. Jawan Taylor might be a good for the money. He might be good for what it is. Jawan Taylor's another. If you don't get the first two, it'll be interesting. But I think the Jaguars will keep him. Zachary just said that. Yeah, I think the Jaguars, he's speaking as a Jags fan. Look, Jawan Taylor, I think, will probably stay. The money's too good. He's a serviceable starter and good starter. Why? And he's not costing you an arm and a leg. Jacksonville would be stupid to get rid of him. If Jacksonville does allow him to hit the free agent market, he might overpay to go somewhere else, which again is all the more reason why the Dolphins could end up with him, because the Dolphins are known to overpay people to come and play down in South Florida. It happens. Can't say it doesn't. So it'll be interesting to see where Jawan Taylor ends up. I'm 50-50 if he ends up back in Jacksonville or not. Remember, Orlando Brown only wants to play left tackle. And I think anywhere else, that's fine. For the simple fact that I think anybody that's here right now will currently play wherever's asked. So interesting. I'm going to go to linebacker, Tennessee Titans, David Long. David Long projected 4 years, $55 million, 13.75 guarantee. Any linebacker has a true chance of being here from free agency. Fangio will go after every major linebacker. Now, the question is, would you rather have David Long or would you rather have the guy from Levante David from Tampa? I think I would want Levante David. You're getting into a bidding war for McGinsley, so you're going to have to overpay to bring him here. It'll be interesting nonetheless. David Long will be interesting. Again, I think any linebacker will be interested. All these defensive people, I think, will be in play, especially number 18 on the list, Jordan Poyer. Jordan Poyer, safety of the Buffalo Bills. I think the Dolphins go after another person in the safety position. There's 3 or 4 potential safeties that are going to hit the free agent market that are potential starters the moment they come in here and are going to be able to play. I would love to see Jordan Poyer in a Dolphins uniform. Do I think it'll happen? I don't know. He's going to average $8.5 million a year. 2-year deal, 11.5 guaranteed. That's what he's probably going to ask for. I understand he's getting up there in age, but he logged 950 snaps every season through 2017 through 2021. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where Jordan Poyer ends up. Dolphins paying big contracts for both offensive tackles would hurt the team in other areas, Martina Davies said. So here's the real question. Everybody wants to talk about the salary cap. It increased again this offseason. It will increase again next offseason, by the way, significantly. They've said the next 2 offseasons salary caps will increase significantly. There is no way in the world that I can think of where the salary cap with the Dolphins has been an issue since Greer and Ross has been doing this last year and a half. The Dolphins have one goal in mind. That's to win a Super Bowl. They will make the money work until they win a Super Bowl. At least that's the goal for them. So this offseason, I know they said that they're not going to be huge in the free agent market. Everybody wants to talk about, they're lying to us about the quarterback position, that they really are. How can they be lying to us about that, but not lying to us about the free agent spending money? I'm not saying that they're going to go after a big name, but they will spend money this free agency. That I think they will do. And it's going to be in the form of smaller tier or mid-tier players. Players that will bluster your roster and bluster maybe your starting your potential. But I have to think that there's gonna be 4 or 5 players where they're gonna come in here and start day one or get a significant amount of snaps day one. Somebody like Levante David, Jordan Poyer, or Orlando Brown, or McKinley, or Jawan Taylor, or James Bradbury, or Saquon, or Josh Jacobs. I mean, they have Jamal Dean, Jesse Bates. They have to be in the running here. They have to be somebody that Chris Greer and Fangio and McDaniel are all looking at. They're all looking at. They have to be. Dalton Schultz, Dallas Cowboys, number 19 on the list. Now, my personal opinion about the Dolphins is I don't know if they go after a tight end. I think they want to see what they have and who's in-house already, and I think that they will be okay with that. And even with Gesicki gone, Tanner Connor, Ethan Carter's coming back from injury, and obviously Durham Smythe and Hunter Long, I think will be the guys here next year. I don't think that they have. Now, do I think Dalton Schultz is somebody that would fit very nicely into this offense? 100% I do. But at $14.5 million per year, and he's going to want a bag, I don't think Dalton Schultz ends up in Miami. Would I like to see it? Yeah, I would. I'd like to see Dalton Schultz end up here in Miami because he's a true tight end. He knows how to block. But I don't think the Dolphins actually go after a free agent for the tight end position. I think they just keep what they have in-house. Let's see here. Tremaine Edmonds, number 25 on the list. Linebacker. 3 years, $47.5 million, $47.75 million, 15.5 per year. I think that Tremaine Edmonds will be somebody that Vic Fangio would love to see in a Dolphins uniform. The question is, will Tremaine Edmonds want to be in a Dolphins uniform, and will the Buffalo Bills pay him? Very interested to see that. Tremaine Edmonds at $15.5 million per year with the Buffalo Bills, will be very interested to see if they will pay that or not for him. Again, I'd like to see Tremaine Edmonds in a Dolphins uniform, but I don't know. Edmonds made huge strides in coverage in 2022, the major weakness in his game throughout his first 4 seasons. He's truly a freakish athlete and will be 25 years old through his 6th NFL season. He was selected number 16 overall in the 2018 draft and was the 2nd youngest player in his draft class. He's young, he plays, he's good, he's smart. Would love to see him in a Dolphins uniform. Do I think he ends up in Miami? I think it's more likely that he remains in Buffalo personally. But nonetheless, would love to see him in a Dolphins uniform. Jimmy Garoppolo, number 26, according to PFF free agent. This is interesting. We all said that he wants the bag. And I said, well, with Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson potentially moving and different things, I don't know if Garoppolo will have an opportunity to get that bag. I'm not saying he won't. But according to PFF here, they project him on a 1-year, $15 million, $12 million guaranteed deal. They don't think he's going to get a long-term deal. If that is the case, and PFF is correct, 100% could see the Dolphins going after Garoppolo as the backup. Because you are guaranteed to get 4 to 6 starts here. Guaranteed. With this offense. In 4 games with this offense, you could go get a long-term deal somewhere else if you're good enough. And Garoppolo's good enough. Garoppolo, I disagree with you, Mark. He's not trash. The man wins football games, and we need a backup. Would love to see Garoppolo as the backup here to Tua. Tua's, for all intents and purposes, everything they've said, he's the guy here, right? We can have this conversation 50 million times, and I'm sure we will over the coming months. But they said he's the guy. Well, I'm not going with Skyler as my backup. I refuse to think the Dolphins will have Skylar as their backup. And I refuse to also believe that they're naive to think that Tua is going to stay healthy for a full year. So the backup quarterback position for me is the most important position for the Dolphins to address. So if Garoppolo is here, even if he gets to play only 4 or 5 games, it will be enough for him to make a long-term contract with somewhere else because he will prove it in this offense. And it will be good enough that if Tua or when Tua goes down, let's say when he goes down, we're not like, oh my God, the end of the world. There's no way we can win. No. Garoppolo's more than a capable backup and somebody who can come in here and do it. And if PFF's prediction is correct, at 1 year, $15 million, $12 million guaranteed, I'm all day, if I'm Chris Greer, lining up to go get Garoppolo as my backup. 100%. Do I think he comes to Miami? I do not. But if this projection is what they think on a 1-year deal, I would hope that Greer's in line saying, I'm taking a ticket. I want to get him. Because he would by far be the best backup that they have. By far. $12 million for a backup's not high. It's not high. We paid $10 million for Jay Cutler to come out of retirement. We're talking about a quarterback who's been to a Super Bowl and a couple of NFC championship games. And you don't want to pay an extra $2 million? This is PFS projection. It'd be stupid for them not to go after him at $12 million. Now, do I think that's what he'll get? I think he'll get more. But, man, let me tell you, if PFF's any close to where to being right with this, whew, I'm all for it. Raise my hand, sign me up. I would love to see Jimmy Garoppolo at $12 million in a Dolphins uniform. 100%. You want Tua as your starter? Okay. Give me Garoppolo as your backup. The moment Tua goes down, Garoppolo steps in. There's nobody's missing a beat. I'm not worried about Teddy getting hurt as if Teddy was here, or Jacoby Brissett and what he might or might not be able to do, or Fitzpatrick. And people talk about Garoppolo and his turn. Garoppolo wins games. Fitzpatrick doesn't win games. Go look at Fitzpatrick's win-loss record to Garoppolo's. You know why Garoppolo stayed around all that time? Because he won games. So what Jimmy might want to start. If Jimmy comes here on a 1-year deal, he knows what the deal is. Bro, you're here as the backup. The moment Tua goes down, you get to go in. And guess what? If Tua does have the year of his life and doesn't get hurt and plays all the games, good for Miami. Garoppolo, have a nice day. But I believe that it would be a good gamble for Garoppolo to come here and play 1 year and have 4 to 6 games. 100% think Garoppolo. Think about this for a second. If you're Jimmy Garoppolo, would you rather go be the starter for 17 games with the Jets or the Panthers, right? Let's say the Jets or the Panthers, right? Or would you rather come here on a 1-year deal, get to play with Tyreek and Jalen for 4 or 5 games and an explosive offense? Come on, think about it. Jimmy G at 12 is expensive, but the greatest plan B. He already agreed to be a backup spot starter this year. He'd do it in Miami too. I'm scared paying a backup 3 years in a row. We always get a top backup and we crap the bed. Wrong. Disagree with that, Batman. Okay. And I'll read the rest of your thing. You'd rather invest the money in a right tackle, left guard, or middle linebacker. That's too much money for any of those positions. Okay. Again, y'all know how I feel about the salary cap. It's fake. Fake news. Guys, we have paid $10 million for stupid players before. Garoppolo at $12 million would be a safe backup. And why wouldn't Jimmy do it? and everybody says Jimmy's better than Tua, then so be it. Then you should be first in line to say, let Jimmy come here. Because if Jimmy's that much better than Tua, then we're really going to see. But I believe this is how it would go. Greer would approach Jimmy, say, hey, look, here's, man, you're going to go with a 1-year deal, come to Miami. Well, I'm not going to be able to play all 17 games, and Tua is your starter. Yeah, that's true. But would you rather play 4 or 5 games with Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle, or would you rather play 17 games with whoever's going to be the wide receivers in New York or whoever's going to be the wide receivers in Carolina? To me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for me. No-brainer. And I understand y'all think differently, and I understand y'all would rather see the money spent maybe elsewhere. I'm not saying that I don't want to see money spent elsewhere. But here's what I do know. Most of the fan base, not all of them, most of the fan base understand with the understanding, okay? Not saying you like it, but you have an understanding that the Dolphins are going with Tua as the starter next year. Most of the fan base doesn't want to see Skylar as the backup. So who's going to be the backup here next year? Would you rather have Gardner Minshew or Jimmy Garoppolo? I would rather have Garoppolo. Now, Minshew's behind him. Don't get it twisted. I would still like Minshew if I can't get Garoppolo. But at $12 million, I'm all day taking Jimmy. Jimmy G all day. Sign me up 5 times. 3 times. 2 times. It don't matter. Sign me up. Would love it. Would love it. And yes, I do believe that the Dolphins need to shore up the O-line. I do believe that they need to do that. But I also understand where they're at as a team. And again, understanding that Tua is going to be the starter next year. And with that being said, understanding I don't want Skylar as my number 2. Because track record shows Tua's not going to play all 17 games, which guarantees you that whoever the backup's in is going to have to not only come in, they have to be able to win games and make sure that this offense doesn't click without a beat, without missing a beat. Skylar's still learning. He's still a quarterback that's learning and adjusting. He's still a 7th-round quarterback. There's a lot for him to learn. He did well in what he was asked to do. He didn't do great. He did well. He did the best he could with what he had and what he was given as a 7th-round rookie quarterback. And if you all or the Miami Dolphins go into the next year as Skylar being the number 2 with Tua being your backup, then I would agree with the people that are really pissed off that Tua is still the starter, that the Dolphins just did not care who was the quarterback. They just were blind to it, oblivious. You can't be. Not with a man who's never played a full season. Can't do it. You have to have a quality backup in here. So Jimmy G to me is that guy. And if PFF's contract projection is correct, at $12 million, I am 100% signing me up to be the team that brings him in. And I'm selling the hell out of it. Tyreek, all these people, you get to come and play with them, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get to play 4 or 5 games all day. All day. Word of mouth says, no. Skylar is no longer a 7th-round rookie. He's now an experienced playoff quarterback. He earned that spot. Disagree. He's a 2nd-year quarterback that was a 7th-round quarterback. I posted on Twitter that the entire Eagles O-line is ranked in the top 10 in their positions, and same top 5 O-line needs to get fixed point blank. You can't plug in Skylar Dalton behind you can plug in Skylar or Dalton behind a decent O-line if needed. Well, so this is my argument to you, Batman. The same reason that fans are upset that I have no faith in the quarterback. I have no faith that the Dolphins They've had 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years. They have never shown me or proven to me that they can address the offensive line situation correctly. Mind you, correctly. I have less faith in them about that than I do. At least Tua showed that the man can ball when he playing against certain teams. Don't take that away from Skylar to fit your narrative, Steven. Let's get something straight. Skylar threw, let's go to the playoff game. Let me pull up the numbers because I don't want y'all to say, Steven, you're just Buffalo Bills versus Miami Dolphins. Here we go. January 15th, 34-31. Skylar for 220 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. 1 touchdown. Now, that's very similar to Tua's numbers in some terms. 2 interceptions, not so much, although Tua did have a couple of games this year. That Christmas Day game was atrocious. I'll give you that. But I think everybody's entitled to 1 or 2 bad games. And I'll give the benefit of the doubt to a 7th-round rookie quarterback for that, too. But to say that he's an effective, what did you say, word of mouth? He's an experienced playoff quarterback. He played in 1 playoff game where he threw 2 interceptions and 1 touchdown. Skylar was 18 for 45. Was 18 for 45. Okay? Let's just get there. The defense had a touchdown. The rushing game had a touchdown. That's 21 points right there. Skylar, the receiver, like, you got to call it what it is. You have to. I'm trying to see where the 1 touchdown for Skylar, 1 touchdown for Jeff Wilson, 1 touchdown for Gesicki, 1 touchdown on defense. And Jason Sanders had 3 field goals. He accounted for 9 points plus 2 extra points, so 11 points. So word of mouth, in my opinion, Skylar is not a number 2 and shouldn't be. I want him on the roster. I think the Dolphins should go with 3 quarterbacks. But I don't think he should be the number 2 here next year if 2 was going to be the starter. If the Dolphins were to bring in somebody like Tom Brady, I know he retired. I get it. That conversation's old. Or maybe even Derek Carr, mind you. Or Lamar. Lamar, not so much. Rodgers. Again, I don't want the Dolphins to go after any of those guys. Just want to throw that out there. Then maybe I would be okay with Skylar being the number 2 to an Aaron Rodgers. To maybe a Derek Carr. Because those guys are going to play most all games and have a good track record of it. And if he goes in, those 2 guys will be on the sidelines to help him out. But I don't think that Skylar's a true number 2 yet. Personal opinion. Personal opinion. He held his own. He's okay. But so my question to you all is, are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting 4 games for you minimum next year? That's the real question. It's not, is he a capable backup? Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games for you next year? The man who's only thrown 2 touchdowns his entire career. Are you okay with that? Be honest. Be honest. Matter of fact, I want to know how honest y'all are being. I'm going to start a poll. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum? Spell minimum. Reading, spelling is hard. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games next year? Yes or no? Here we go. I put it in the chat. Vote. I want to hear from you. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games next year? If the answer is yes from you, then I just don't know what to tell you. And maybe that is going to be the case. But in my opinion, I don't want to take that. I don't want to take that chance. I'd rather have more experience. Von Joe says, but word of mouth, check this out. Stephen D is doubting all these quarterbacks that have more playoff experience than Tua, and he's fighting and making our number one. This is a joke. How is it a joke? I want Jimmy G. And for the people that don't like Tua, you should want Jimmy G as your backup. You should be clamoring for Jimmy G to be the backup because he's eventually going to get a chance to start. And when he does, it's going to be up to him whether he gives the job back or not. Because if he's winning games, if Jimmy G comes in and he goes 4-0 in his games, you don't think the conversation McDaniel's going to have, well, he's winning games. We got to think about this. There'll be a conversation. There would be a conversation. 35 votes. Keep them coming in. 36 votes. Over 100 of y'all. Vote in the chat. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games next year? Because guaranteed, whoever the backup is, Skylar, Jimmy G, Gardner Minshew, Teddy Bridgewater, whoever the backup is next year, will start a minimum of 4 games. Because the track record shows that. Votes, over 100 of y'all watching. I want more votes. Come on now. Over 110 of y'all in the room right now, according to the YouTube numbers. I want to get at least 60, 70 votes. Get a good gauge of this. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games? Put it in the vote. Look in the chat right now. You'll see the vote. I want you to vote right now. 44 votes. Keep them coming in. I want to remind you all while you're watching and we're waiting for these votes to come in that Miami Sports Music is doing a Super Bowl box pool. Get your numbers right now. You see the open numbers that are there. You send the money through Cash App and PayPal only. It's $25 per block, and a portion of the proceeds will get donated to the Dolphins Cancer Challenge. When you send the money in, make sure in the message area you put your name with the box numbers that you want. So please send the money in, $25 per block. And you could do it on Cash App or PayPal, MSM Podcast Network. As a matter of fact, I will drop the link to Cash App and PayPal right now in the chat. So y'all have that. And again, go ahead and make sure you're voting because I want to get these votes in. I want to get a good gauge from y'all, what y'all think about this. 50 votes. Come on, let me get 15, 20 more votes. Over 100 of y'all watching right now. Let's get 15, 20 more votes. 51 votes. Come on, keep them. If you haven't voted, vote. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games next year? I'm not good with Skylar starting 4 games. I would say half games, period, because I want a reliable starter. But that's not the question on the table, word of mouth. The Dolphins have stated publicly that Tua Tagovailoa is the starter next year. And we know, what we know is that Tua can't go through a full year healthy because the numbers show that. If he does, it'll be an exception. It'll be a great thing. We'll all be very happy about it. But we know that the numbers are showing that he won't. His history, his track record shows that he won't play a full season. So if that is the case, you have to say, okay, well, let's go through. Minimum 4 games, probably. All right. Minimum 4 games. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson as your backup starting 4 games? You are going to rely on him for 4 wins, potentially. Are you okay with that? And think about it. Tua's going to be your starter, right? So you basically said we're not going to go after Jimmy G. We're not going to go after Gardner Minshew. We're not going to go after Andy Dalton. We're not going to go after Lamar. We're not going to go after anybody. Tua's the guy. He's the starter. And we're saying Skyler's going to be the number 2, and we're going with 2 quarterbacks next year. And when Tua goes down, we're going to hope that Skyler's the guy. Why would you? To me, that's 59 votes. Come on, let's get 10 more votes. 10 more votes. Are you okay with Skyler starting a minimum of 4 games next year? Over 100 of y'all watching. All right, 62 votes. Come on. Let's get 8 more votes. 8 more votes. Are you okay with Skyler Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games next year? I think 70 votes would be a good, okay, I had 100 people watching. More than almost 3/4 of them voted. 63 votes. Come on, 7 more votes. I'd like to, if over 100 of y'all, I'd like to get 75, but we'll go with 70. Come on. 64 votes. I can tell y'all it's close right now. It's very close. 6 more votes. Come on, vote in the chat right now. Vote. Six more people that haven't voted yet. Vote right now. Are you okay with Skyler Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games? And then I'm going to give you the results and tell you what I truly think about it. 64 votes. Come on. $66 votes. Come on, 4 more votes. And I'm going to keep it on after we hit it so that if way you want to add eventually you can too. 67 votes. $68 votes. 2 more votes, y'all. Kenna says, y'all should be okay with Skyler starting 4 games. He want to win and get in game. Anyone who wants Skyler at QB2 or worse 1 loves misery. Yeah, he lost the 4 hardest games on the schedule. Lamar also lost games, easier games too. What's your point? We both finished with round 1 playoff exit because our starting quarterback was hurt. Same result. Come on, 68 votes. Tyler Huntley at least made the Pro Bowl, although that was a joke in itself. 69 votes. 1 more vote, and we're there. If you haven't voted, vote in the chat right now. 70 votes. Okay. 70 votes, and y'all keep voting. I'd love to get to 75 or more, so that way I have that there, and I'm going to post it on Twitter later and get it what you want. Are you okay with Skyler Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games? Over 70 votes have been voted right now, and we'll keep it going as we go along. 53% say yes. They would rather start a minimum, have Skyler Thompson start a minimum of 4 games. That means 53% of the votes knew that Tua was going to start and be the starter next year, and knew that based on that, now we got 71, now it's 52%, and knew that Tua, knowing that he's going to start, knowing he's going to get hurt, that Skyler's going to have to step in and take the mantle to start some games. So with all of that being said, we'll say it's 52 to 48%. It's essentially a 50-50. But we'll say 50+% of the fan base wants Skyler to come in and say, hey, look, we know that Tua's out. We know that we have a great team here on the offensive side of the ball. We need you to come in and we need you to win football games. I need you all to think about that for a second. This man has thrown 2 touchdowns in his entire NFL career. Yes, he won a win-in, get-in game against a team that arguably, let's call it what it is. And by the way, it's funny because some of the same fans are arguing with me about how bad I think the Jets are going to be next year. But some of those same fans are like, well, the Jets, they're going to be better with a better quarterback, whatever the case is, okay? I don't understand why you're arguing with me with that, but so be it. Understand that they played a Jets game where they only put 11 points on the board. They put 11 points on that board. He didn't score 1 touchdown that entire game. But he won. He did. He was the quarterback, and when you get in, that is correct. But you're okay. With this hard of a schedule as we have next year, the second hardest schedule in the NFL, to have Skylar Thompson come in and be your starting quarterback for 4 games, no way, shape, or form should you be okay with that or be satisfied with that. Now, some of those same people are going to be like, Steven, you're being a hypocrite. You're saying that, but the same thing about Tua. No. Understand this. Again, Tua would not be my first pick next year. But I do get, and I also understand that the team has already stated to us publicly, Tua's going to be the guy next year. Okay, fine. If Tua's the guy next year, who's going to come in and play when Tua gets hurt? Because everything that I have seen, Tua's going to get hurt. And you want me to believe in Skylar Thompson for a month? No freaking way. No way. None. The man's thrown 2 touchdowns in his entire career. I don't believe in Skylar Thompson. I think he's a good project. I think he has a lot of potential. I'd love to see him on the roster as the 3rd string. Why is that? Because all 3 of our quarterbacks got hurt last year. We had to have Mike Glennon come in and sit on the sidelines. He didn't dress, but we had Mike Glennon come in because we thought, man, there's a chance that all 3 of our quarterbacks could get hurt. We saw what happened in the San Francisco 49ers game. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, who's played very well, mind you, in his games, gets hurt. They have to bring in a 4th-string quarterback. We saw how well that played. It is imperative that teams have 3 quarterbacks that could potentially help your team win. And in my opinion, it should go starter gives you your best chance. Starter goes down. Who's giving us the next best chance? All right. 2nd string goes down. I still want my 3rd string to I don't want to feel, oh my God, the 3rd string quarterback's in. We're never going to win. No, if God forbid Skylar had to come in because he's 3rd string, I would at least feel like, all right, he knows the playbook. He's played in some games. He played in a playoff game. I feel like we at least have a shot. I don't feel like all hope is lost. But I would feel but it would be like that last glimmering hope that I would have. But I would feel that way. I would hate to feel that way if my 2nd string had to come in because, mind you, 14 quarterbacks in the NFL last year got hurt. 14 starting quarterbacks in the NFL got hurt last year. Tua wasn't the only one. Actually, it might have been 16. It was 14 or 16. So you want me to be okay with Skylar as my number 2? Are y'all crazy? No way. None. No way, shape, or form do I want Skylar being my number 2 next year. So for me, it goes, who's the next best option behind Tua? Because the team has clearly told me that Tua's the guy next year. Okay. Well, who's the best out there? That's not gonna cost me an arm and a leg. Well, Lamar's not going to be that guy because Lamar's going to cost an arm and a leg. You're going to have to give up the world for him. So he's out the window. Aaron Rodgers, same boat. I'm going to have to give up an arm and a leg to go get him. Might have to give up even a player, and I'm going to have to pay him a bag. Not going to do it. So Lamar and Aaron Rodgers gone out the window because I'm not giving up my future, and I'm not paying these guys $50 to $60 million per year and hamstring my franchise for the future. That's not going to happen because, God forbid, those guys don't work out. I no longer have capital to go out and get a rookie quarterback to try to rebuild my team again. So I'm screwed for the next 5 to 7 years with those 2 guys. Not going to work, okay? So now you go David Carr. All right, well, David Carr, maybe. He's not going to cost as much as Lamar or Aaron Rodgers would, but he's still going to cost something that might, inhibit you to do something in the future, and he's still going to cost $30 to $40 million, probably, all right? Maybe 25, maybe. Carr's at least a conversation. I don't know if I would, but personally, I think when Tua is healthy, He's just as good, if not better than Carr. So why not keep Tua? Okay? Because David Carr played all 17 games and had the same numbers as Tua, who played 4 less games. So I'm saying David Carr. It's Derek Carr. You guys know who I'm saying. Derek, sorry. One car is as bad as another car, okay? They're both bad cars. I wouldn't buy them or pay any insurance on them or nothing. They're bad cars, and I wouldn't drive them anywhere, okay? That's all I'm saying. David, Derek, who cares? You understand what I'm trying to tell y'all right now. I'm telling you, I would not drive either one of those cars, okay? So now I've basically stated Derek's not on my list, Lamar's not on my list, and Aaron's not on my list. Who's the next best option? Jimmy Garoppolo is right there as your next best option. Oh, well, all 3 of those guys are going to be playing in new teams this year. Sure are. And all 3 of those teams, and mind you, all 3 of those teams, Aaron Rodgers is not like a new quarterback's coming there because they got Jordan Love. So there you go. You don't have to replace Green Bay there, right? Lamar, I honestly think they're going to consider Huntley as the starter there if Lamar doesn't stay. And by the way, and then whatchamacallit, Derek Carr, I do think Aaron Rodgers ends up there, personally. I think that's where Aaron Rodgers ends up. Now, who's in the market for looking for a starting quarterback? Carolina, New York Jets. We just said that Aaron Rodgers probably ends up in Vegas and Tampa Bay. Those are 3 teams right there that are potentially looking for starters for day one. And I already said Carolina. Did I say Carolina? I think I said Carolina already, if not 3 or 4. Okay. And then there's a couple of other teams that might consider it. Seattle, Carolina, if I haven't said Carolina already, whatever. Okay. I'm telling y'all right now, Jimmy G, it behooves him, unless he's getting a bag from the New York Jets or the Las Vegas Raiders or the Carolina Panthers, which I don't think the only team that would remotely consider him giving him a bag is probably Carolina. It behooves him to take a 1-year deal and play somewhere else on a 1-year deal. And we all have seen, history has shown, you only need to play 4 or 5 good games and you can get a bag if you're not playing the whole year. I get to go down to South Beach, play in Miami in the sun, no state tax. I get to play with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Jimmy Garoppolo's perfect scenario on a 1-year deal is to go down to Miami, play 4 to 6 games, kill it down there, maybe even make a Super Bowl run. Call it what you want. But Skylar Thompson being your number 2, in my opinion, is atrocious and unacceptable in every way, shape, or form. Darth Vader says with his $2 donation, he says, open up a panel, start a panel. This isn't Wildin' Out Wednesday, but I will open up the lines and I'll allow one person at a time to come up here. Donate to the channel if you like the channel. You don't have to like what I'm saying, but if you enjoy Clock Blockers, if you enjoy Miami sports music, donate to the channel right now. I will drop the link for y'all to come in. But Skylar as the number 2 to me is unacceptable. And Jimmy Garoppolo to me makes the most sense. And then Gardner Minshew's right behind him if you can't get Garoppolo. Personal opinion. Personal opinion. All right, I'm going to end the poll. 82 votes were in, and 54% or 53% said a minimum of that. Are you okay with Skylar Thompson starting a minimum of 4 games with 82 votes total? 53% said yes, they are okay with Skylar Thompson starting 4 games next year. I'm not going to open up a full panel. I'll bring y'all on one at a time, and y'all can argue with me and debate me individually. So what I will do is I'll bring on the first person here. Good morning, Cat for Life. How are you?
Oh, damn. Good morning, man. You threw me off. Oh, man. I really wanted to argue with everybody, not just with you.
Well, I'm not doing a full panel today. You got to wait for Wildin' Out Wednesday, Cap for Life. But if you don't agree with what I'm saying or you don't like what I'm saying, the floor is open, my friend. You can feel free to debate with me.
I mean, it's not a debate. I mean, it's pretty much obvious what you're doing here is try to like lower the expectation levels at the quarterback position just to fit your narrative. I mean, why would you settle for someone who gets hurt more than our starting quarterback as it is?
So, all right. So Cap for Life, understand this. You agree that Tua is probably going to be the starter here next year, right?
Yeah, the same way I can agree he's going to get hurt as well. They both go hand in hand.
That I agree. I agree with you, Cap. We are not disagreeing. We are 100% in agreement on that statement. Okay, so understanding that the Dolphins organization is saying Tua's going to be the starter here next year, and we all know that he's not going to be able to play a full season. You're now saying, Cap, to me that you're okay with Skylar Thompson being the number 2 and starting those 4 games?
Well, I mean, look, you have to realize as well, because since you're bringing up Skylar Thompson, that means that you're content with him being on the 53-man roster if you keep bringing him up.
As the number 3? As the number 3, I think the Dolphins can go with 3 quarterbacks next year.
All right. Well, I mean, why are we arguing about him being the second if he's going to be on the 53 regardless? My question is, who else are we going to get behind him if he gets hurt like Teddy did when he was number 2? I mean, we're still going to need 3 quarterbacks whether you want to hear it or not.
All right. So I mean, you know what? That's a fair statement. So then the question, Cap, is who do you want as that third, second, whatever? Who is
not a recycled? Not a recycled quarterback, bro. If we're going to do something to the point where we know we're going to be force-fed the same narrative again,
okay.
I mean, why not mix it up with a different quarterback, a different style who hasn't been hurt that much?
Give me an example.
I mean, we've given you examples. We've mentioned to you Minshew. We've mentioned to you David Carr or Derek Carr, or whichever one of them are, man. I mean, there's options out there that you guys are quick to turn down.
No. Time out. I said that I'm okay with Minshew. I said I would consider Carr, but I know he would cost, and I'm not.
You got Baker Mayfield out there that Pete was bringing up almost 2 years ago, which is starting to look more and more like it's going to happen as well.
Would be on that short list for me. Yes,
I mean, this is a short list that none of us wanted to go through 2 years ago. We were turning down all these names left and right,
but now
we're embracing it because you're putting the poll out there because you're pretty much worrisome of Skylar Thompson taking over the number 2 spot, but you're not worried about Jimmy G coming over here and getting hurt or ending up in a strip club and costing us a game or 2. I mean, I don't understand how you're not worried about that.
Off the field, so I don't know why that was brought up as an excuse. But what I will say to you, Cap for Life, is when it comes down to it, I'm okay with Jimmy Garoppolo because for the same reason that word of mouth was just trying to tell me, oh, no, Skylar's an experienced quarterback with playoff history. No, Jimmy G's an experienced quarterback with playoff history. That man's been to a couple of Super Bowls, couple of NFC championship games, as a record of like 49-18 or 49-19 or 51-9, some stupid thing like that. Like,
okay,
he's got records.
Look, you're hyping up. You're hyping up somebody that, I mean, you're pretty much, we're saying a year ago, when Flores left, you don't want to have to reinsert the same old style of New England Patriot play. You're pretty much doing the same thing, recycling this with a San Francisco style of play, by grabbing every player that McDaniel's ever played with from San Fran. Like, you're regurgitating the same thing over and over.
It is a mere coincidence that Jimmy Garoppolo happened to come from San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. That's a mere coincidence, yeah.
It has nothing to do with McDaniel. If Flores was here, I would have said Jimmy G should still be the starting or should be the backup there this year.
Why not Cooper Rush? Why not get creative and innovative? You know what I'm saying? Like, think out of the box.
All right, so hold on. That's a fair question. Why?
Donald's been saying that for a couple of days, and I agree with him.
Why would I? So to me, it goes comparing quarterbacks. So you want me to add Cooper Rush? Well, then I'm going to say, if I had a chance between Cooper Rush and Jimmy Garoppolo would win every day. Now,
is Cooper Rush undefeated, or did he lose?
But he ended up losing a game. But if Cooper Rush had to play against Gardner Minshew, who would I play? Gardner Minshew or Cooper Rush? I think I would take Gardner Minshew. And then it goes down. Would I rather
just having to think about that?
Would I rather have Cooper Rush or Baker Mayfield? I think I'd rather have Baker Mayfield over Cooper Rush. So now Cooper is behind 4 people that I've mentioned. I'm not saying he's not an option, but he wouldn't be my first 3 or first 4.
This is going to be a long couple of months, bro. Like I said, man, I don't want to have to hear the same old BS every year about the draft when we only have maybe less than 6 draft picks. So we can't get creative in that front because we've been limited. You know, I mentioned yesterday on a certain platform, I forgot which one I was on, but I think it was Larry. Yeah, it was Larry's, because Larry was talking about there was 31 free agents in the draft. And it's like, well, you're not, I mean, in the free agency, it's going to be 31 free agents, and we're not going to really have anything in the draft to compensate that. We're going to have to go heavy on free agent side with these 1-year deals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to have to think about getting another quarterback that's better than what you think. Because, I mean, if we're going to make a Super Bowl run, the Super Bowl runs are done with 1-year contracts with big name guys. Like, you still need to fill in the linebacking core as well with these 1-year contracts. I would go in with a quarterback that you know is established if you're going to make the Super Bowl run, because this window is starting to shrink to the size of a mouse hole.
So you're frustrated about having a very similar argument that we've had for multiple off seasons, and we can get rid of that by going after a day one starter and not even have to worry. Then you can have Scott. If Aaron Rodgers came in, who gives a shit about the backup? Because Skyler would be the number 2 behind Aaron Rodgers or Lamar, and we wouldn't care.
I'm just saying, man, why limit yourself and settle for a quarterback less than the guy you have now? I mean, I don't understand why people are scared of the competition.
So hold on. To me, that is a totally different argument, and one that I'd be willing to have with you on a future day, and one that we've had on this platform as well as multiple other platforms, and that goes to, why are we settling for Tua as the quarterback? And to me, that's a totally different argument.
No,
one
I'm
that
just
I
saying
really don't want to have.
competition-wise with this team. Why are we settling competition-wise just because of the football politics involved? Like, we know a certain player is better than the other one, be it quarterback or running back. Play that damn dude, man. Like, you guys don't like the Patriot way, but Belichick always played the people that earn the play. And over here, we don't do it. We do the complete opposite because of the contracts involved. That's kind of like, you know, I don't know, man. It's like the same old, man. Like, I don't know, man. That's just my 2 cents, though.
I'll say this before I let you go, Cap. I'll say that for me, the backup quarterback's the most important key to this offseason, because he's guaranteed to get at least 4 starts. And currently on our roster, it's Skylar Thompson and Tua Tagovailoa. And so we need a third quarterback in here, and that quarterback should be better than Skylar. And all honesty, there's no other quarterback that can compete with Tua, with the exception of Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers. And I am not willing to give up the future to go out and get those 2 guys who, by the way, do not.
You know, Carr almost has the same identical numbers as Rodgers.
Who? Carr?
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I'd have to go look at that. That might not be true.
Check it out, man, because I think they're like, you know, neck and neck as far as like
Derek Carr. Derek Carr. Derek Carr's numbers and Aaron Rodgers from this past year.
Yeah.
All right. Aaron Rodgers' numbers this year was 3,695 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Yeah, 35,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Very similar numbers.
I'm just saying, man, why are we afraid to be great, man? There's quarterbacks out there. I'm just saying. We're just not doing ourselves a service.
I did say Derek Carr would be one that I would at least consider, but you still have to give it's not like he's going to be free. You have to give up something for him. And you would have to give up something of significance. That's players, draft picks, whatever. Derek would be one that I would consider because he'd be significantly less than Aaron. But we all know that. But if you go to the point, Derek's numbers are just as good as Tua's, and Tua played 4 less games. So then the question is, why not just stick with Tua? Do you get what I'm saying? That's where that comes in. All right, Cap, man. I'm going to let you go, brother. I appreciate you coming on this morning, man. Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right, man. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. It is 11 on the dot. We are on top of the hour here. We're having a good time. Make sure you guys get your Super Bowl box numbers, $25 per box. There's a lot of numbers there, guys. Make sure you get it. You pay through Cash App or PayPal, MSM Podcast Network. When you send the money in, make sure you put your name in the box numbers that you want. Want to fill this thing up before everything gets here. So make sure y'all do that. Bring in the next guest. The line is open for y'all to get in where you fit in. Matter of fact, let me put it in the chat here. So here we go. Hold up. Bam. Paste. And pin message. All right, so now the link is pinned to the top of the page. Let me bring in the next guest here. Mr. Ty Bless is in the building. Good morning, Ty. What's up, man?
What up?
What up?
How you feeling, baby?
What up, big guy? How are you?
Chilling, man. Chilling.
I like that studio, man. That studio is fire.
Respect. Thank you, man. I do a lot, man.
You have a channel, right?
I haven't started a channel, man. This studio, I down here, in Florida. And I've been, I built this to do music and stuff, but I plan on doing a channel very shortly.
You should, man. That's a fire studio, cuz I like it, man.
You gotta come by. Check it out, bro. For real.
Or Solo D does. You need to get Solo D up in there.
Yeah, so me and him could do another collabo, remember?
Yes. That's my guy. I'm Solo.
For real.
So what's up, man? What's on your mind, man?
I agree with you.
Somebody does.
With you 1,000%. Jimmy G would be perfect for the situation on a 1-year deal to be the backup to Tua. He knows the system. That's mostly important thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't be that expensive. A lot of these Dolphin fans don't understand that we are on a plan. The plan is to win on a rookie contract. That's the plan. I mean, I know y'all want to abort the plan because Tua hasn't been, the most healthiest quarterback, but the real thing is to address the problem with that is to address the offensive line, address the running game, and guess what? Tua might survive this season.
Look, look as far as the plan being to win with a rookie contract, the plan is they believe that Tua can get them to the level that they want to go to, which is, for all intents and purposes, a Super Bowl. And we know that when Tua's on his game, he's proven to be more than an effective, a really, really good quarterback. Now, there's two things he has going against him. Number one, his health. Okay.
Right.
He has yet to stay healthy for a full year. And number two, he hasn't done it consistently. Right. Those are fair things to argue the point against Tua. Okay. But the ability that he does have is more than capable when it's on to win a Super Bowl and to be a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Okay, the numbers are there. He's shown that, and the same, and again, the same argument that can be made, Ty, to what Kat was telling me. Go look at Aaron and Derek's numbers; they're very similar. That's true. Well, if I'm correct, Aaron played every game this year.
Right.
I think he might have been out for one game or
it
was out.
Off year for Aaron, though.
Yeah,
I know.
And Derek, I don't think he played every game. I think he played maybe 15 games.
15 before they benched them.
Correct.
Last 3 games, yeah.
So his numbers were just as good as Tua. So Derek Carr, I think that you can make the argument, but you'd have to give up. You'd have to give up, and you'd have to pay him a bag, right? And that would hamstring you for the future or the salary cap, which some people believe is a true thing. So there you go, right? And so for Tua, to me, it makes more sense that I don't have to go out and get anybody for Gardner Minshew. I don't have to go out and get anybody for Jimmy G. I don't have to go up and get, to me, those would be my first 2 people that I would bring in, Jimmy G being one, and if I can't get Jimmy G, Gardner Minshew's right behind him. And then I go and I say, hey, look, here we go. And then Baker Mayfield's in that front too. I think Baker Mayfield's in that mix, right? Yep. And I feel like most quarterbacks would see the Dolphins and say, man, I got a chance to, and I don't know why people are undercutting this or saying that's not fair. No. At the end of the day, why wouldn't you think that a quarterback would rather come and play with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and live in South Beach and a 4 or 5 game? Like, to me, that would be a positive, right? Like, wouldn't you think that would overcome people's or a quarterback's fears rather than going to play a full season with the Jets or the Panthers?
Hell yeah, no state tax too, definitely. Why not? Of course. Very attractive place to play football. Very attractive place. You know what? Something that hasn't been talked about though, the 49ers lost 4 quarterbacks. The Jets had lost all their quarterbacks at some point this year too. We all have lost all 3 of our quarterbacks. There's something about the Shanahan system that exposes quarterbacks to injury. But nobody's speaking about that.
And maybe McDaniel's prone to that as well because he comes from that tree, right? That's
Exactly.
a possibility or plausibility. Miami
Yeah.
Fan Talk Show says Jimmy ain't coming to be a backup. He's going to be a Buccaneer. And then Cap for Life says, Steven, I forgot to ask your thoughts on Lamar getting all-pro honors over Tua. Deserved it. Yeah. 100%. There's no argument there.
Tua fell off the cliff at the end of the year, so definitely deserved it. So
he did 100%. Here's Ty. This is a problem that I have within the fan base. All right. So we did the poll this morning, and 53%. My argument is even about Tua.
And Skyler's not a number 2.
Skyler's not a number 2.
He's still a developmental quarterback. So
and by the way, the argument isn't even you're okay. You're not okay with Skyler being the number 2, but you're okay with Tua being the number 1. We've been told that Tua is going to be the number 1. I'm not saying I'm okay with it. I'm telling you. And by the way, I feel indifferent about it, right? Like I'm like, quarterback is such a tough position around the NFL. You either got an elite quarterback or you don't. And there are only a few handful of teams that have elite quarterbacks they're just.
Our quarterback won Player of the Week 4 times this year. NFL Player of the Week 4 times this year.
I know, but we want to look over that because he was hurt for 4.5 weeks or 5 weeks this year.
Again, let's protect him. You know what I'm saying?
So to Batman's point, I agree. Blostering up the O-line is to me, quarterback number 2 and O-line are the 2 most important things the Dolphins need to address on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, it's linebacker and secondary health.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Those are the 2 things. 4 things.
That's not a lot. It's not a lot to do.
I know it's not a lot.
Done.
And we upgraded coaching positions, right? We went and got a top 3 defensive coordinator.
Exactly.
How are you not understanding that the Dolphins are like, so for the same, everybody's like, no, that we're not close because we haven't addressed the quarterback position. BS. The Dolphins are close.
Mm-hmm.
They're close.
We get a Josh Jacobs, boy, he'll make the offensive line look a lot better. Even when we upgrade it, you understand? It all works in conjunction.
I could make the argument that if they go if they go out and bluster the O-line, Ty, right? If they go, Chris, I appreciate the $5 donation. If they go out and bluster the O-line, that it doesn't matter if Jeff Wilson's back there with Raheem Mostert or Josh Jacobs with whoever. Now, is Josh Jacobs better than Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson? Of course they are. But again, I'm not going to lose sleep over us going after re-signing them if we were to bring in, Orlando Brown or the guy from the 49ers or even, Lawan
Taylor, right?
Yeah. Well, Taylor, that's another guy, Taylor Lewan from the Tennessee Titans. I was talking about Jawan Taylor, I think, from Jacksonville. That's another guy, right? So there are plenty of free agent offensive linemen that are going to be available that if I'm correct in thinking, and I heard what you heard in the end of the year press conference, Ty, was Greer saying we're not going to do what we did last offseason. But he didn't say they're not going to not go after people. They're just not going to be as aggressive as they were last offseason.
We don't have to.
That could be interpreted differently on many different levels. What if they get more free agents this offseason than they do last offseason, but the numbers just weren't there and it wasn't top 10 players in free agency? They were all veteran minimums or one-year deals. You could make the argument they were more aggressive this offseason than they were last offseason.
And the backup players, when we fell off because our backups weren't as good, that was the point. That was the problem. So we have to bolster that as well. And you do that by not spending too much money on any one position. And we'll know. If we get a new quarterback and we have to pay like a car or somebody like that, that means we ain't gonna have enough money to really bolster those other positions. But if we can get somebody like a Garoppolo or a Minshew, somebody like that to back up to we can address a better running back maybe. And that'll change everything because I see this offense. What happens when, like against the 49ers, the linebackers started to drop back deep in coverage and take the middle away. If you got a running back, that's not going to happen anymore.
Kevin Lee,
that's really important.
Kevin Lee says, look at Philadelphia. Hurts is not elite, but has everything around him. Tua can be just as good as Hurts if he just stays healthy and he steps up his level of play versus great teams.
Better. Long-term better because Hurts can't run like that forever.
All right, let me bring up. I'm going to keep you up here, Ty, if you got a few moments.
No doubt. No doubt.
If you got some time this morning, I'll keep you up here, man. I like you.
I'm with you.
All right, man. All right, we'll keep you up here. Ty's up here with me on Hot Take Tuesday. We'll go G. Good morning, G. G. You got to take yourself off mute, G.
Sorry, you hear me?
You sound like a robot. Yeah, what's up, G?
Sound like a robot. Man, listen. I'm sitting here listening to this, man, and I'm like, how long we gonna keep chasing our tail, pretending that we got something that ain't what we pretending that it is, man? You know, bruh, if you take your finger and point it at any object right there in your office, all right, close your left eye, and look at it with your right eye and point at it. Okay. Now you're right on it. Okay. You're on it, right? You would hit that if you were to shoot at it. Okay. Now just close your right eye now and open your left. Did it move?
Yeah.
That's the problem. Tua is right-handed. He right-handed from birth. Okay, but he's throwing left-handed. And anytime you're doing that, you're gonna be off, man. You can hide that in college.
Right now, G, are you having me
I ain't kidding you.
left arm of God, and you're sitting? Are you kidding me, G? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me.
He really right-handed. You know that?
His father made him throw left-handed.
This man was playing at an elite level for a portion of the season with throwing left hand.
It looked like that. It looked like that.
G.
Hey man, listen. Objects in your mirror are closer than what they appear, bro.
NFL player of the week 4 times. And with that left arm, he had
against homecoming teams. He did that against homecoming teams, bro. You're supposed to look good at homecoming. How did he look against San Francisco?
Because he looked bad.
How did he look against the Chargers?
He looked bad.
I know exactly why. Because he can't drop it behind the linebackers in front of the safety. That's a touch pass. You got to be. Bro, that Fugazi. It gets exposed, man, when you play that Fugazi, get it, that Boudin. That tree with the seed in it. That boy's so mid. I can smell it.
You sound like a hater.
I sound like a hater? Nah, I sound like a realist, bro.
No, you don't.
I sound like a realist.
You just tried to tell me, close your left eye and point to something, then close your right eye. Did it move?
Exactly. Hey, you know, yeah, okay. 4 interceptions against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just left on the field, bro. They just left on the field, man. Go ahead, say something, Ty.
Listen, that the 49er game, he looked bad, but what they did was they dropped the line. Warren was playing safety, and Mike McDaniels didn't adjust to the fact that Shanahan knows the same game plan. It's the same offense, and they didn't throw outside the numbers. They didn't have no checkdowns. Look, it was three receiver routes, no running back checkdowns, right? Against the Chargers, he didn't change the game plan, knowing that the blueprint was out there, that the Chargers was going to do it. So now, again, that was a Mike McDaniels thing. Also, Terran Armstead wasn't playing. Like, that matters, man. That matters.
Gee, if you want to be mad at the GM about how particular moves or decisions are made, I understand that argument from fans, and I can listen to it to a certain extent, right? But I also want you all to hear the other side of it. There's only less than a third of the league have elite quarterbacks in the NFL, and on almost half of the quarterbacks this year in the NFL got hurt. So all these teams are trying to find the next Peyton Manning, the next, John Elway, the next Dan Marino, the next Patrick Mahomes, the next, Joe Burrow. Okay,
Joe Burrow. Yep.
Exactly, right. And even those guys have knocks on them. Josh Allen and Patrick and Joe Burrow both have knocks on those guys, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is the Dolphins, in my opinion, are not far off from most of the other teams in the NFL. They're all trying to find that guy. And what they did is calculated their decisions. You don't have to like them. You don't have to agree with them. And that's where you say, well, I just don't agree with Chris Greer. I think what Chris Greer and the organization are doing as a whole, to me, is not how I would go about it. I can listen to that argument. What I can't listen to is Tua's not the guy. Well, that's not true. Tua can't stay healthy. Right. I can listen to that.
Can he beat Joe Burrow? Can he beat Joe Burrow?
I don't know.
Yeah, he can.
Can he beat Patrick Mahomes? Can he beat Patrick Mahomes?
As a team,
hey, you done bump, man. Come on, man. Be for real.
We're gonna play the Chiefs
for real. Sometimes I really think Dolphins fans. Sometimes I really think Dolphins fans be like.
You do realize we're playing the Chiefs and the Eagles next year. So if we end up winning both those games or one of those games or whatever, at that point, what argument is going to be with you if Tua is the starter?
Hey, bro, I'll be the happiest man in the world, bro. I like when the Dolphins win. Come on, man.
You gonna be
I didn't like December.
But
of course.
That's of course. Some of the fan base wants, and I'm not saying all of it, but some of the fan base is sitting there like, how can you guys, or how can fans be so against, like, the franchise has publicly stated Tua's the guy that they're going with next year, and here are the reasons why. He was AFC player. He was player of the week 4 weeks. He had just as good at numbers playing 5 less weeks as Aaron Rodgers and Derek Carr. He has there are calculated decisions. You don't have to like them, but there are facts to back them up on why they make this decision.
Like, number 1 passer rating.
Listen. You thinking of the game as physical. And physical is a lot of it, man, but it's the mental part. The mental part. Did he beat Fitzpatrick to take the job? No. It was given to him. It was handed to him. All right. If he was in a head-to-head competition with Skyler, could he beat out Skyler? No. But we're just giving it to him. Giving it to him. He ain't earned nothing in the NFL. Bruh, let him beat out Skyler. Let him beat out Jimmy G. Whoever we bring in, let it be a fair and open competition. And I'll put my head on a chopping block. The man will lose his job. I don't think Skyler was given a fair shot. Skyler wasn't given a fair shot.
Skyler wasn't given a fair shot.
Skyler wasn't given a fair shot, man. Skyler was not given a fair shot. This whole offense was built towards Tua and a left-handed quarterback, man.
So that's why he didn't beat out Jimmy Fitzpatrick, right?
Pop one. Hey, let me ask you this, man. Since you want to have all these aha moments and he's such a pro quarterback, why we don't run a pro-style offense? Why we don't run a pro-style offense? Why do we run a Pop Warner offense? I know why, because we got a Pop Warner quarterback.
That's so you want to argue with me about McDaniel and his play calling and how he's running his offense? So be it. But did we not have 2 wide receivers that had over 1,000 yards receiving?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
the record.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Both of them have over 1,300 yards receiving, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you know the last time we did that? Don't worry, I'll wait. It's been a minute. So you can argue with
what did it get us?
Type of style.
And what did it get us?
It was still a really good offense.
So
Steven, in the red zone this year.
Steven, let me ask you this. All right. After the film was out there, all right. So you got the 4 games in December. There's plenty of film out there on Hill and Waddle and what we're doing as an offense. All right. Pittsburgh had it figured out. They dropped 4 interceptions. But let's just go to December. Once they saw what was going on and what was happening, like, okay, 10 and 17, ain't nothing else, ain't no third hero out there. You don't really have a third option. You lock them 2 down and what the man got. And here's the thing, man. You act like the man didn't say he couldn't see over the line. You act like before Jimmy G made it public, McDaniels was in his DM. McDaniels was in his DM trying to make Jimmy G a Dolphin, all right? Not what Flores did. I'm talking, this year. This year they were trying to get off of him, and they were in Jimmy G's DM. And when it came out, right before the 49ers game, Tua stunk it up the whole rest of the season. It's mental.
Gee, I got a lot of other people in the background. So real quick, let me just ask this last thing. If you said the Dolphins were in Jimmy G's DM, why wouldn't the Dolphins be all in on trying to get him to come here on a 1-year deal as a backup? Why wouldn't they do that?
That's just facts. Why?
Because you worry if you hurt the man's feelings, he might go coach.
Dog.
The man real sensitive. He Ralph Tresvant. We need a man with sensitivity, and that's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I like. That's okay. Hey, listen, man. Ain't no hate, man. I took the red pill. You feel me? I took the red pill, bro. But it is what it is. Don't hate the player, hate the game. It is what it is.
Hey, G, I love you, man. You're my guy.
All right, hey, purple it up though, Stephen D. You a purple pill man, flip flop, baby. Whatever way the wind blows, baby. Purple pill. I love it, baby.
Say cat blockers.
As purple as it can be. I love it, man. Hey, y'all have a good day, man.
You too, man.
Thank you, G.
All right, man.
Thanks for being a Dolphins fan, baby.
Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Ty's sitting here hanging out with me in his studio. I had to bring you on, man. I didn't want to take these people when I'm sitting here fighting and they're trying to get me. I couldn't have it. I needed somebody else to bring in here. So let me bring in another guest, my brother from another mother, Dolphin Don. What's up, Dolphin Don?
What's up, Steven? What's up, Ty?
How you feeling,
Dolphin Don? You're the man. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, you know what? I just want to say I love y'all, and I love all the Dolphins fans out here, man. You know, we're here talking about the Dolphins, and we've been at it for how many weeks? I don't know.
A lot of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
lot of weeks.
But I do want to push back.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Dolphin Don, are you against me? I thought you were here to back me up.
Well,
I'm all ear. I got one good ear. I'm all ear, Dolphin Don.
I do. Well, I mean, I'm all for some of the things you say, but as far as us getting another high-priced backup quarterback is basically accepting defeat, man. Okay, sure, let's have 3 quarterbacks. But yeah, let Skyler be the backup, man. That's what all the good teams in the NFL did back when I was a young man, about y'all's age. In the 70s, we had a backup quarterback, and he was able to go out there. Don Strock,
baby.
Yeah.
Don Strock went to a Super Bowl with the Dolphins. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Listen
to me then. Earl Morrall. I mean, we've always been a history of good
Earl Morrall again went to a Super Bowl with the Colts. These are high priced. These are high valued backups. These were people that could go out and do stuff.
But we didn't purge him from another team, paying him over $10 million
a
year.
Don, this is a totally different NFL than it was 35 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. You know that just as good as I do. We live in a different world now.
I wholeheartedly agree. We need another quarterback. I'm just not willing to go out there and pay no Jimmy G money. Ain't no willing to pay no Lamar Jackson money.
I'm out off and down. Pro Football Network said that they project him to have a 1-year, $12 million deal. That's not paying him a bag.
That's money we can put on the line, though. Put that money on the line, dog.
Super Bowl and a couple of NFC Championship games.
You could pay Josh. You could play Josh Jacobs. You could pay him that money too.
You can still. Hey, all right. So Dolphin Don, let me ask you: if we go out and get Jimmy G as a backup and sign Josh Jacobs, you come up here and you say, "Steven, you were right. We got both those guys. They were great." I want you to come up here and say that. I want you to come up here and say that.
I'll do that. I'll do that. But at the same time, like I said, I ain't willing to pay no all this money, man.
Who's to be the backup here next year, Don?
Well, okay. It depends on how cheap we could get them. My first point. But you know, I could see us, you know, if we could go with somebody like, you know, maybe Baker. I don't like Baker though. I'm not in love with it. I'm not in love with paying anybody.
I wouldn't be mad at Baker.
Yeah, and I'm not like sitting here like, oh my God, we got to get Baker. No, I'm like, okay, let the kid, you know, that Skyler, he got some playoff experience, like it or not, and he threw some good balls. Let him be the backup, man. Let him be the man. If we want to draft a guy, draft him.
All right, so Don,
I threw some balls. I mean,
Don, the man threw two. Like the fact that you are okay with Skyler being the number 2 next year really surprises me coming from you. Yeah, I thought you had more sense than some of these people up here, Dolphin Don. You disappoint me because the man has thrown for quote 2 touchdowns his entire career, but you're okay with him starting 4 NFL games next year.
How many?
Are you serious? Are you kidding me?
I'm being frugal, man. I'm keeping the counts for
And who cares? The salary cap ain't real, Don. It's not real,
man. If it wasn't real, they wouldn't have one.
Don't let these people lie to you. It's not.
It's real, bro. We just have to pay the piper, man. I'm looking for long-term success, man. And yeah, if Skylar gets a couple more years on him, yeah, he'll be like a Don Strock guy.
Okay. Oh, okay. Well, there's so many flaws to your thought process there because the Dolphins could be out of their window in 2 years, but you want to wait for Skylar for 2 years, who's not even good. So
I want a dynasty.
Don, because Don, your thought process tells me that you would want to see Skylar start next year. Say it. You want to see Skylar start next year.
I'm not going to go that far, but at the same time, I think he can be a capable backup. And I also want to bet on Tua making it through 17 games next year.
Hey, I like that idea too.
Yeah,
I mean, we all want to see him play 17 games, but history shows us that it repeats itself, and we know that Tua's not going to play.
The history that repeats itself is we have not fixed this offensive line yet.
Thank you.
And that's fair.
Thank you, Ty. That's
by the way, I
spend that money where we can use
to me, that's not what the original argument was. And if you go through me listening to the entire free agent list, I said that the Dolphins need to address the O-line, no matter who's here.
Yeah. How many bad snaps must Connor Williams do at center? Send him back to guard, please.
I 100. You know, Ty, you and I agree wholeheartedly on that. I do think he is a good. Now the numbers show, like PFF shows, that Connor Williams is a good. That's blocking. But that's blocking exactly. He's not a good center. I agree, and I'm not a. I hold my breath every time there's a shotgun snap with Connor Williams.
Okay? That's what they do.
Hold my breath.
That's
all right. Dolphin Don, is there anything else before I let you go? Because you've disappointed me this morning. I'm disappointed in you.
I actually liked a lot of his takes. I did.
Thank you.
Don, he had something.
That makes
fix the O-line, fix the running back.
Well, you're gonna for sure like this tape right here. I'm rooting for the Chiefs because Andy Reid let go of Sam Madison 1 year ahead of his contract being ended, and he told Sam Madison, "You need to go home and be with your family." Oh. And I was like, "Yeah, hey, Andy Reid, you got my vote, brother."
Hey, I'm going for the Chiefs too.
Hey, look, I'm going for the Chiefs. I'm not going for Jalen Hurts because God forbid I'll hear the end of it if Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl.
Well, that too.
I will never hear the end of it. Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl before Tua. I'm already going to hear it. Jalen Hurts went to a Super Bowl. Tua hadn't.
That would never end. Yeah. All right, y'all. Be blessed, man. Good talking.
I love you, brother. Hey, tell these people. Man. Hey, Dolphin Down. Tell the people to donate to the channel. Help the channel grow.
Come on, y'all. Donate to the channel. We're up here doing stuff. Steven's doing stuff on his own time, trying to help us out, man. And us crazy.
Yeah, what about that PJ guy that was backing up on the Carolina Panthers? My man PJ.
PJ Tucker. I like him. I like him.
Man, you're on.
I like him.
There, Ty.
But PJ Tucker's going to be in Carolina. Carolina's going to keep him.
They're going to keep him.
He's not going to break the bank either.
He wouldn't break the bank. You are correct. I wouldn't be mad at PJ Tucker.
He played his butt off. Yeah.
I think PJ Tucker.
I watched him. I watched him in the USFL. He's bad.
I like PJ Tucker. Yeah, he definitely can. All right, Dolphin Don, love you, brother. I got other people in the back room, man. I'm gonna let them on.
Yeah, love you back, bro. Peace.
All right, man. Breaking news for the Miami Heat fans. Miami Heat are trading center Dwayne Dedmon and a second-round pick to the San Antonio Spurs. So it looks like they're freeing up some cap space for a trade coming. Ooh. They're trading Dwayne Dedmon and a second-round pick to the Spurs. So I'm interested to know what the Heat are about to do.
They were dangling Dedmon, and they was dangling Duncan together to see what they could get back. And
yeah, man, I'm interested to see what the Heat do. It looks like the Heat are preparing for a nice trade. I don't know if it's a blockbuster trade, but it definitely looks like they're bringing in somebody of quality here.
Kevin Durant ignored the press yesterday. I don't know.
And dude, if Kevin Durant goes to Miami, let's go. And I hate Kevin Durant. I do not like him, but I would not be mad if he went to the Heat. I'd be like, all right, well, let's see what, because I think he'd be a good piece for them. But
dude, if he comes to the Heat,
personally don't like him.
I'm running down there with my Clippers.
All right, so we're on Miami Heat watch right now because it looks like they're about to make a move, so that they definitely traded. All right, let me bring in the next person here, my brother Caslin. What's up, Caslin? How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Steven? How you been?
Everything's wicked hot over here at the Boston market.
I knew you were gonna start with that.
Over here, wicked hot. Hey, Ty, it's wicked hot over here. I had to park my. I don't like any of those car brothers. I had to park both those cars, Derek and David. They both suck.
Yeah. I don't know why you hate Derek Carr so much, but
I don't hate him. As a matter of fact, I said Lamar and Aaron Rodgers are the two guys that I just don't want the Dolphins to go after. I think you give up too much. I think they do. But if the Dolphins were to consider Derek, I would be okay. I'll at least because I don't think he would cost as much to go out and get. And there's even a good chance, they might not even be able to trade him, and they just straight put him on waivers or release him. And I think he'd clear waivers because of that contract. So
that's what I said. He has to be released right after 3 days after the Super Bowl, or they're gonna have to pay them $40 million. And again, if he comes to Miami, I'll be the first one saying, okay, now we definitely have a Super Bowl shot with this offense with him. And if you bring him in, there ain't no quarterback competition. Tua couldn't touch a shoelace on Derek Carr.
Seriously?
Let me start up by saying it's never going to happen. Just want to throw that out there.
No, well, it's never going to happen. But it's and I'll make you a bet. If Tua makes all 17 games in playoffs, whatever we make playoffs, I'll donate $100 to the channel. I don't think it's going to happen, but again, that's how
Chef
little.
Hugh, make sure you hear that. Say that one more time, Caslin, so Chef Hugh can write this down.
I'll donate $100 if Tua plays every game. Now, if they sit him for
it needs to be more than 100 because that would be a miracle. All right, let me just throw that out there. We're talking about miracles over here.
That's crazy.
I would love for them to sign Love in no pun intended from the Giants, the safety.
He's bad too.
He would fit so well in Fangio's system. He's one of the best tacklers in safeties. The dude's a ball hawk.
He's fantastic.
And he's not going to cost that much. $7 million a year, you sign him for 3 years, whatever. It's not going to be that bad. Offensive line, everybody complains about the offensive line. The Bengals still have a worse offensive line, and the dude is, went to the Super Bowl almost twice.
But the Bengals have Kenny. They have Mixon though. Makes a difference.
Okay. Yeah, but we had Mosin. Yeah, but it's again. And I love for them to sign a middle linebacker. I like Van Der Besch, but I don't think they're going to sign him.
I like Levante David personally. I'd like to see Levante David.
But I don't know who they would sign. That's the whole thing, because Davis would fit in the system. Obviously, Edmonds would fit in the system as well. Van Der Besch would sign it. And Van Der Besch actually had one of his best years, and he's not going to cost you that much. So we only have 44 players on the roster right now under contract. So we need some of that free agency money, the money that we have on the cap to sign some of these other guys back,
Right.
And the draft, I would love to take the guard on the offensive tackle, from Ohio State, but I don't think I think you could take him in the 4th round. I think he's going to drop that far because he has some issues with no, it's just it's on how swim moves. He's not very good with that stuff. So you'd have to come in, you'd have to bring him in and train him with that. But the 3rd round pick or the 2nd round pick, I'm taking either Sanders for the running back from Tulane, or I'm taking the tight end from Georgia, because I think he's going to cause.
You will want one of the running backs from Texas?
Robinson's not going to be there. He's going in the 1st round. He's going to go. Dallas is going to take him in the 1st round.
What about his backup? He's badass too, and he's coming out.
Yeah, he's going to be. He'll be gone in the 2nd round. There's so many. This is such a deep draft, but I think Sanders is probably the best running back we'll see in a long time.
You're thinking the right way. You're thinking the right way.
Look, I'm excited to see what Fangio wants to do. There's going to be a lot of free agents out there, and Fangio is going to be able to bring in veteran free agents. And some people are like, "There's no way Fangio is going to be able to recruit." Yes, there is. Fangio is going to recruit. He's going to be able to bring in, and there are going to be some veteran free agents that are going to want to come here, and they'll play on veteran minimums, or they'll pay on discounted prices to come play under Fangio. I'm telling you, they will. And I know that, again, they said we're not going to have a huge off season as far as acquisitions are concerned with signing, but I mean, that's debatable depending on what way you look at it. Are we going to go out and get another Tyreek Hill big name? Probably not. But are we going to go out and I think it's plausible that we have more free agent signings this offseason than we did last offseason. And so
yeah, I wouldn't sign this draft is way too deep with cornerbacks and running backs. I wouldn't sign it. As much as I like Josh Jacobs, and I think he'd be a beast in the system. Same thing with Tony Pollard, or Kareem Hunt, or whatever. I think they'll all be really good in the system. But I think you can get, like I said, a Sanders in the second round. I mean, the third round, and you pick him first with our first pick in the third round, and you come back like Darius Rush. Even though I think that'd be a reach, a cornerback from South Carolina, because he's another ball hawk. 25% of the targets that they threw at him is either batted up or intercepted. So the kid's going to be a good corner. We're going to need another corner. So that's what I would do. I would take. Depends on when Sanders goes, or when he's projected to go. I think you take Williams, the tight end from Georgia, because again, like I said, in the red zone, how are you going to compete with that? The dude is 6'7", tight end, and he has good hands. Yes. He's a good blocker. He fits McDaniel's system as far as in he's a blocking tight end. Now, is he as fast? No, but the dude hurls over people. He's crazy. I mean, and he's ranked 50th in the nation, so he'll be there. He could potentially be there at the 51st pick.
What's his name again?
Williams is his last name. I forgot what his first name is, but he's from Georgia.
Okay, I remember him.
And I take him, but backup. I actually like Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush is 4-1, and he had 5 starts this year with Dak being down, and he's 4-1. I don't mind him. I don't want Gardner Minshew. I don't want some of these other Tyler Heineke. I'm not too. I don't think he would be bad. I don't think you're going to get Garoppolo coming here. Garoppolo would be.
By the way, my saying was, did I think Garoppolo was coming here? No. Would I take a flyer on him at $12 million? Would I be in line? Do I think Greer should be in line to go after him?
The guy name is Darnell Washington.
100% I would. 100%.
Right, but okay. But now here's the problem: you bring in him, and I'm not opposed to bringing in him because I think he's a decent quarterback. Is he a great quarterback? No, but he'll fit the system because this is the type of system it's a very easy system to run for quarterbacks, and that's the reason why I don't understand.
According to G, this is a Pop Warner offense.
Well, I don't understand why everybody loves Skyler. Now, did I see some things here and there from Skyler that was pretty good? Yes, but this is there's a lot of potential for him. Very easy system to run, and that's why. And you can love Tua, hate Tua, whatever, but I think the reason why Tua did as well as he did, because look at the offense that they built around him. Look at the weapons that they just gave him, and those 2 receivers is what really made Tua. It wasn't Tua making himself. It was those 2 receivers that made Tua.
And if those 2 receivers was making Tua, then how come they didn't make Skyler or Teddy?
Mahan. Teddy really wasn't healthy either. And Skyler, I don't know if Skyler is
plug and play. It's not Tua. It has a special way that he plays this game, and y'all don't want to give him credit, man. It's crazy.
I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm saying he's decent. He's decent. Is he a top 10? No. Is he? I don't think so. I don't. I can name you 10 guys right now that are way better than him.
When the line is playing right, the stats show, and during the middle of when everything was together before Teron Armstead got hurt, right?
Okay.
Playing like you top 10.
Hold on.
What?
Right, but hold
I'm
on.
just
You gave him all these weapons. Everybody said at the beginning of the year, oh, Patrick Mahomes is going to be trash this year because they don't have Tyreek Hill. What happened? He had better numbers this year than he did last year.
But okay, how would Josh Allen be without Diggs?
Well, I think we're going to find that out because I don't think Diggs is going to stay there.
We know what it is. How was he before Diggs?
And hold on, do I think Josh Allen is as good as everybody says he is? No. I think he's another one that was a product of the system with Dable. Yeah, and I think Dable's gone. Since Dable's gone, he's regressed this year. He's not the same quarterback.
All right, Kaz. I got other people in the back.
Yeah, I
know. Anything else before I let you go, real quick, man?
No, like I said, I just I look at things from outside the box too. But if we got Carr, it would be lights out, especially with Fangio, and Fangio's defensive style. What he does against high-powered offenses is what I like about him the most, because he could shut down. I mean, he's not going to shut you down. He doesn't shut down Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes still threw almost 300 yards against him and a whole bunch of.
It makes you work for it, though.
Right, but Patrick Mahomes is a hell of a lot different quarterback than, you put him and then everybody else is way below him on the pedestal. He's the best in the league by far. But I think we'll do good, but I still don't trust Tua.
I hear you, Caslin. Hey, brother, I appreciate you coming on this morning. Thanks for the love. And, dude, get some of these boxes, man. Get some of these squares, man.
Yeah, I'm going to send you the snap
y'all got
chat later.
You didn't see the script that came out? They said that the Chiefs was going to win 37-34.
Yeah, I did see that. I did. Kaz, I appreciate it, brother. That is such a crazy scenario. That whole situation, unbelievable. Like it's so like. By the way, it's just a screenshot, I think, of somebody messing around with the Wikipedia page. I think is really what it is. All right, let me bring in somebody who I know doesn't agree with me on anything. Lewis.
What's good? Good morning, Stephen and Ty. What's going on?
Good morning, Lewis. Hello, sir. How are you, good sir?
This show has been very informational, Stephen. You know what I've learned today?
What have you learned today, sir?
We need a starter and a backup quarterback.
What? You learned that today on my show?
Absolutely. From what you said, you said you guarantee us having 4 to 6 weeks of a backup quarterback playing. That means Tua will not be playing, correct?
Yes, I did say that.
Well, then, if your starting quarterback that's supposed to be the franchise guy is going to be missing 4 to 6 games a year, then I don't give a damn who the backup is. We need a starter.
But you do know that your franchise that we both root for, that we're both fans of, have told us that Tua is going to be the starter next year.
That wasn't what I said. I know our organization is a bunch of clowns, but I don't want our fan base to follow in suit. We don't have to be clowns because our organization is a bunch of clowns.
So your argument is with Chris Greer and Stephen Ross, not with Tua.
Absolutely. I root for the kid, Stephen. We all root for the kid. This is the whole problem again that people just want to miss, because when I come out and say this, now I'm labeled the hater, which I'm not. I root for the kid. But again, if we all sitting here, everybody on this panel, I think Ty would agree with this, right? If we know that Tua is going to miss 4 to 6 games a season, how can we sit here and be okay with the organization feeding us a guy that was not going to be our franchise quarterback?
Because to my point earlier, Lewis, almost half of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL got hurt last year, starting quarterbacks, right? And if you're lucky, maybe a third of the quarterbacks in the NFL are considered a quarterback that can get their team to the next level. And I think that's probably saying a lot, a third. If I'm correct, there's probably maybe 10 quarterbacks, which I guess would be a third, right? Or close to being a third. So let's say 8 to 12 quarterbacks, 12's being on the high side, 8 probably being exactly where it is, I would bet. Quarterbacks in the NFL that if you have them, you have a chance at going to the Super Bowl. Like you're not questioning your starting quarterback. You're going in with who you're going in. So that means 2/3 of the NFL are kind of in the same boat that you would put us in, right? So then you say, okay, I understand where we're at. I get what we're trying to do. But if 2/3 of the NFL are looking for starting quarterbacks that can get us to the next level, let's look at what we do have and let's look in the mirror. Well, we have a quarterback that was AFC Offensive Player of the Week 4 weeks last year. We have a player that led the league in highest completion percentage. Look, I understand you don't like hearing those arguments, Lewis, and I understand you're giving me that look, but those are realities to the situation. There are pros that you can put to a side, that you can argue the fact, I understand why the team's doing what they're doing, because the latter, or what's the alternative is, doesn't outweigh what you might gain with it. Now, the one knock that we can all agree with Tua on is his health. Nobody likes that he doesn't play all 17 games a year. And right now he hasn't shown that he can do that. And that's my knock on him. So then it goes to, what are you willing to give up for your franchise to move forward in another direction? The Dolphins don't think that it outweighs what they would have to give up to go out and get, let's say, a Derek Carr. They think, why give that up where we can stick with Tua, get a decent quarterback backup in here, and then maybe 2 years from now, if it doesn't work, we're going to be in the same boat that we'd be in with Derek, who doesn't guarantee us a Super Bowl, mind you. Derek doesn't guarantee anything. Aaron Rodgers doesn't guarantee anything. But what they do guarantee is that you have no future, because you have no capital to go out and get anybody in the future.
We ain't got no future now, and we got all the draft.
True, we do. We do. That's where you and I disagree.
That's
I
pessimism.
believe that we do.
No,
I 100% think that we do.
As the plan is constituted now, we do have a future.
What's the future? What's
plan
our
that we
future?
have in place.
The present is allow Tua to keep on maturing and get better and hopefully stay healthy. And if that can happen, which, by the way, I'm of the mindset that if Tua stays, he's not playing for a month out of the year every year. Like he's out for 4 to 6 weeks every year.
And you're okay with that?
I don't think that's the case.
It's not that I'm okay with it. It's the reality of the situation. It's the cards that I'm being dealt.
That's what
right.
you
And to me,
and you know why the organization will never do anything about changing it. Because of statements like that.
Because the alternatives, Lewis, don't outweigh what you like. You would have to mortgage the future for still not a guarantee. At least with Tua, you don't have to give up anything, and you still got a shot.
What happened was.
Let me ask you guys this, right? Because if I throw another scenario at you, I can argue then we should draft a quarterback every year until we hit one, right? So I'll give you my opinion, right? Let's say we keep Tua. He's obviously the starter. You go into the season with Skylar Thompson. I'm not paying nobody. I don't give a damn what it is. I ain't paying nobody in here. What we're going to do in free agency is spend our money on O-linemen, corners, linebackers. We're going to build around Tua, right? That's what we're going to do. Okay. Now, in the second round, let's say a Anthony Richardson from Florida or a Hooker,
Will Levi,
or Hooker is there at 52, right? I would say you draft one of those guys, right? And this is why. You know Tua's the starter. Skyland could be the number 2. You draft one of those guys and you say, listen, we're going to redshirt you, especially Hooker, coming off the injury. We're going to redshirt you. We want you in the building. We're going to put you on. We're going to give you the game plan. We just want you to learn for a year. If Tua succeeds, you give him the long-term extension. Tua's our guy. If he fails, going into next season, you got a guy that was in your system for a whole year, learning with Darrell Bevel, Mike McDaniel, and we're off to the races next year with another quarterback. Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, you see what I'm saying? Like, when are we going to move off?
Okay, can I answer why I don't?
Okay, yeah.
All right, so the issue with me with a starting quarterback is almost very similar to the same reasons why I'm not okay with Skylar being the number 2, right? Some of them not exactly the same, but very similar. Number 1, look, the reason why I didn't want Skylar to be the number 2 this year is he was a rookie quarterback, right? And so with rookie quarterbacks, you get rookie mistakes. Now we have a full year where that happens. But the other thing, and it's the same reason you don't want Tua, Skylar hasn't been healthy his whole career. And Skylar has a track record of getting hurt. So you want him to be the backup that if he goes down, Hendon Hooker's going to go in or whoever's going to go in.
Yeah,
Well, then I'm
everybody
going to be
gets hurt
stuck in the
NFL.
same
That shit is
boat.
crazy.
To me, it
Tua
would
is just a
behoove
big narrative.
but
Hey.
to me, spending the money on a backup is more imperative. The only thing that overtakes that is the offensive line. Offensive line should be number one, and number two should be backup quarterback.
Perfect. You just told me and everybody that's listening, right, that you don't want Skyler to be the backup because he's injury prone, but you want to go pay Jimmy Garoppolo $15 million, and Jimmy Garoppolo can't stay on the field neither.
He said 12.
But Jimmy G, for the most part, has a very good track record.
But yeah, a track record of being hurt every year.
Of winning.
Tua has a good track record of winning. But Tua
But listen to me, Lewis, listen to me. When Tua gets hurt, we can both say when. I'll agree with when Tua gets hurt.
Okay.
And Skyler comes in as the number two. There's a good chance he gets hurt. Who's coming in at that point? Hendon Hooker or whoever?
Why not?
I'm not.
Bro, again,
I would rather have Tua when Tua gets hurt, have Jimmy G in, who's been to a Super Bowl and multiple NFC championship games, and have him play, or Gardner Minshew or Baker Mayfield. I would rather those guys come in that if and when they get hurt, then we got Skyler. I'm okay with that.
I'm glad you said Gardner Minshew, Steven, right?
I like Gardner. I like Gardner a lot.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought him up. The Philadelphia Eagles that we all believe have a great offensive line, great running game, weapons on the outside, coaching, right? They have everything you want from a team's perspective.
For the most part, yeah. They have almost everything you would want.
They have it all, correct?
Almost.
That same guy you're clamoring to be the backup quarterback started 2 games for that same Eagle team without Jalen Hurts, the same guy we trash, right? We say Jalen Hurts can't play, right? He's no good. He's the product of what the team get. Gardner Minshew started 2 games, and they were 0-2. So if Gardner Minshew can't win in Philadelphia with that roster, but he's going to come to Miami and win? Like, bro,
yeah,
what
you
are
know
we
why?
talking about?
Let me tell you why. I can tell you why. Let me tell you why. That you just kind of wait. The offense was made for a running quarterback. They need somebody see how the Ravens have their QB situation set up. So
Tyler Huntley,
if Lamar goes out, they got people who's kind of like him that fits his mode to be behind him. Minshew doesn't.
Minshew is not like Jalen Hurts. Night and day different quarterback.
It's not going to matter from what we've seen from this offense because again,
he play better in this offense. Way better.
I agree. I would agree he would play better, but that's not the argument. What was said was it's a total different when the guy. Bro, did anyone notice, Steven? Come on, bro. You were at the game with me against Minnesota. When Skylar Thompson started, did that look like when the week before when Teddy Bridgewater started? It just seems there's one offense ran for Tua. There's one offense ran when Teddy came in. There's one offense that is ran with Skylar Thompson, and it can't be like that. You're telling me that Skylar Thompson can't perform when we see Tua throwing the wide open guys? You telling me that game plan wouldn't work for Teddy or Skylar? It would. The problem is McDaniel didn't call that kind of offense when those guys were in there.
No, those guys didn't run it the same way. They don't have the same. They don't have the same anticipation that Tua has to run that offense. That's what it really is. People don't love him. They love taking credit away from Tua. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't have a bazooka arm. But
no one's taking no credit away.
His anticipation, his accuracy is why he's good. And those other guys didn't have it. That's period. That's period. That's facts. Skyler will get better because he was a rookie.
Hey.
Teddy was playing for a check.
Here's the thing, bud. I think that some of our thought processes are similar. I don't think either one of us are truly happy that Tua is the guy.
I'm happy.
From a standpoint of health, and we all would rather be closer to something concrete than not. And Tua isn't concrete. Tua is anything but concrete. He's question mark. You don't agree with that, Ty?
I just think that if his line's up. I think that he could be protected better with a running game and a line. And I think he'll play. He'll last. He'll be a lot healthier. I just think that. I think that matters
There's
for
no
everybody.
until that happens. I'm not gonna say that because
everybody got hurt, and then everybody gets hurt. We saw what happened to the 49ers, right?
he had a
They wound up with no quarterback in the NFC
he had a
Championship.
decent O-line in college and still got hurt.
Absolutely. This narrative that Tua needs everything. He had it in Alabama and he got hurt. And again,
and I hate and let me tell you, I do. It's funny because people call me a hypocrite. I do feel like a hypocrite saying that because I hate bringing up college compared to the pro. No. But I think and for that take, like I'm not.
Yeah. I swear to God, the NFL is the most violent sports. I'm saying you can get out. I'm saying outside the UFC, right? Like it's violent. People get hurt, and you act like it's only Tua that gets hurt. Everybody gets hurt.
Everybody gets hurt. I get that. I understand. Which is the point I was making about the free agent list, right? When I was going down the free agents earlier in the show, Ty, I was like, you throw a rock into the water, guess what you're going to hit? Water, right? The rock's going to get wet no matter which way you look at it. And I think the same way with most free agents. They're going to have some red flags with them, whether that be health, whether that be, whatever. But a lot of them have health issues. Which is why some teams are not willing to pay the bag to some of these players because of a question mark that they may have, right? And so I look at that and I say, Tua, in my opinion, has question marks the same way a lot of other free agents have question marks, right? But Tua, when he's on, he's one of the best, man. And I believe that. That I believe. And that you can disagree with me with.
Yeah.
But I believe that when Tua's on, that boy is baller. He's a baller.
And that's fine. And I kind of agree with Ty in one aspect that he said. I think you could do a better job of protecting Tua with a run game. But if we're talking about the line, bro, look at the 3 concussions or supposed 3 concussions. None of those came from the offensive line. It wasn't that the line broke down and that's why Tua got hurt this year. If you look at the first one, week 3 against Buffalo, it was a dirty play after the ball was already out of his hand. Matt Milano pushed him down. We're not going to blame the offensive line for that one. Against Cincinnati, it was a very scary situation. No one liked to see it. But Tua held on to the ball for 9.5 seconds. That had nothing to do with the offensive line. And then the one in Green Bay, let's just be honest. Ty, you probably played football. I know Steven played football. Hell, I played football. If Tua Tagovailoa cannot take the hit that gave him the 3rd supposedly concussion against Green Bay, then what are we even talking about him being a quarterback for? You see what I'm saying? So it's not about protecting Tua.
Do you think that Chris Greer is that incompetent?
I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't. I just don't believe that. I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
Bro, just because he gets lucky on a couple contracts and he brings in a couple free agents. Come on, bro. Like, let's be honest. When you have 3 first-round picks in the 2020 draft and you come out with Tua Tagovailoa, Austin Jackson, and Igbenogany, don't tell me about a fucking – bro, that's the time – I'm sorry, Steven. That's the time where you change your franchise. 3 first-round picks. And if I tell you again that your 3 first-round picks, you could have had Herbert, Justin Jefferson, and the running back from the Colts, Jonathan Taylor. What does that draft look like now? You see what I'm saying? What does our team look like? It looks
like hindsight is 2020.
Okay, exactly. But don't sit here and try to feed me that Christopher Greer's a great GM. Then
he's done. He's okay. He's done good. He's done okay.
Okay, yeah, he's okay. Again, that's the same situation with
Tua. And here's what I'll say, Lewis. This is where I label you as a hater, and you're so you're Tua. You're. I don't want. All right, I'll call it hate. You could call it other adjective if you want, but your dislike for Tua is so loud, is so big that you can't see past anything else except if Tua's here, it doesn't matter what the Dolphins do, and that's BS. That's just BS.
It's not.
It is, bud.
I know. There's people in the back. I'm gonna get off, Steven. I appreciate the time, as always. Ty, nice meeting you. I figured Steven would bring you up. Sound like a Tua near, so I'm just
whatever.
Ty near. They don't have the same. Lewis, your local neighborhood friendly Tua hater.
Lewis. I just spelled the Tua near thing straight up because TD made it up. I'm a 2 and 9. Get it right.
There you go. Hey, Ty, the only reason you got called a name is because Steven out here calling people haters and stuff. So Steven started the name calling first.
Right. I don't mind. I don't care. I love Tua.
Hold up. I started the name calling. Are you kidding me?
When that pick was up,
you better take that back, Lewis. You gotta take it back. You know, goodness well that ain't true.
I cannot wait for week 1 in Miami. Steven will be down there. I know he'll be doing a show. And you will see this beautiful face on Cap Blockers from Miami.
It'll be good.
Say it with me,
It'll
Steven.
be good.
Cap Blockers. Cap Blockers.
Cap
right?
Blockers, baby. Hey, Lewis, while you're up here, can you tell the people to donate to the channel and help the channel grow and get their boxes?
Listen, get some squares, box, donate to the channel, help the channel grow, man. Again, we give each other a lot of back and forth, me and Steven. But again, he said it about me. I'll say it about him. He's a good friend of mine. I appreciate what he does, man. So let's help him out, man.
I really do.
And at the end of the day, we just want the Dolphins to be great.
That's it, Ty. That's it.
We all want the same thing. We all want to see the Dolphins in a Super Bowl media day. That's it. We don't ask for much.
That's it. That's it. Hey, Steven, you see what I sent you about Billy Graham, though, right?
I did. I saw you sent. So he sent me a text. I can't get it loaded to the computer, but he was on a Super Bowl media day, and he said during the Eagles and the Dolphins scrimmage this preseason that the players were saying that the Dolphins and Eagles were going to make the Super Bowl together. And then what did he say, Lewis? He said, I guess Tua couldn't hold up his end of the bargain or something.
It's true. He let us down, man.
That's exactly what he said. That's exactly what he said, bro. And again, again, I'm gonna get out of here. But bro, we can love this kid and stuff, but the NFL and the coaches and his peers, they don't respect him, bro. They don't respect him, and it's hard to pill to swallow when you're okay. But bro, we're going into year 4. What is he? A new Tannehill? What's this? A 7-year plan? Come on,
he
man.
has a 4-year deal, right? With a fifth, if we don't pick up the 5th year, the extension, you'll know.
We don't pick up the 5th year option.
Right. You'll know everything.
That man said that the entire straight Benihana chefs right now. We out here cooking. We out here cooking, Ty. Love it. Lewis, love you, brother.
Yeah.
See, that's why. All right, I got a couple more people I want to bring up here. First person, to a gang. What's up, to a gang? Who's this? Is this Rashad? I don't know if this is Rashad.
What's up, Steven? It's your friendly enemy. That's right.
Bang, to a gang.
Man, I had to come up here because I heard this guy over here is a two-a-near, bro. Can you tell me why that you want this guy to continue as your quarterback going into next season, both of y'all? I mean, seriously. And as far as Batman talking about Benny Hadas, if this is Hot Take Tuesday, this is Hot Take Turd Tuesday. If you bring Batman up here with them two-a-near takes. But tell me why this guy deserves to be your quarterback next year, because I don't see it.
I mean, Ty basically said it. Like, in my opinion, he gives the team, he is their best option next year. There is no better option that A, they can go out and get, or B, do it.
Can I tell you why?
Go ahead, yeah. I mean, what, you got some stats or something to go along with that?
No, you heard the stats. You know he was the number 1 pass rater. You know he was the number 1 completion, yards per completion, right? And that was in his first year of the system, yo. Like, what was the last time we had a quarterback and a coach stay together for 2 years in the offensive system? I can't remember. It's been a while, right? Tua had like 3 different systems in 3 different years, right? Nobody really thinks about these things. Let's get some continuity going and fix the things around us, finish the rebuild, and see what it looks like in year 4. If it sucks, we can abandon it. You know why? Because the contract will be up.
But if you go out and get rid of him and you bring in an Aaron Rodgers and you give up the world, or you give up the world for Lamar, if that doesn't work, you're stuck for the next 7 years.
Exactly.
Stuck. Just straight stuck.
I never said get rid of him. I never said, I'm talking about be your quarterback next year. With this picture tells you everything about moving on. You gotta. That's the problem with this organization. They take too long to move on. I'd rather just bring me. I don't care. Tom Brady said he's retired. I don't believe him.
I'm sure we'll bring up.
Give that dude. Give the homie a phone call. You know what I mean? See what he says. At least
I'll tell you this, Estefan. If Skylar goes into the season as our number 2, you best believe the moment Tua goes down, everybody and their brother will be like, "Okay, Tua, Brady, hello, you're in our backyard. Do you want to come back?"
Skylar's our number 2. Greer's going to get fired next year. Period. That's what's going to happen.
I would think.
And I think that his
unless
job is on the line.
Unless Tua plays a whole season without being hurt, and the chances of that are slim to none.
And so that's why I know we're going to get a quarterback. We're going to get a decent, competitive quarterback.
You know what? Everybody, you had the guy up here from Wisconsin or whatever talking about draft and all that. You know that stuff makes me sick by now. About people talking about you can take this guy in the 2nd round, 3rd round. What makes y'all think that they know what the hell they're doing in the later rounds, bro? Because of Cater Kohu? Everybody knows that was because of Boyer. Nick Needham came here because of Flores. And basically every high round pick I think our franchise gives Greer way too much credit.
Great pick of Greer. What do you mean that was Boyer's pick?
Bro, man. Bro, they're
undrafted free agent.
No. We have reporters from Miami saying that was a Boyer guy. That Boyer went and scouted that guy and said Boyer went and scouted this guy and was the guy that wanted him to play for the Dolphins, bro. Let me tell you something. I don't even give him credit for Javon Holland and Jalen Phillips, bro. Because if you looked at most scouting reports and knew what the hell you were looking at, Jalen Phillips, that draft was the best defensive end that you could take. His tape said it, bro. His tape said it. The only knock that he had was his concussions, bro. But a blind person could have selected that kid and Javon Holland and Waddle, bro. Those are all no-brainer picks. What did he do in the 2020 draft, bro? He gave you a guy. He gave you a quarterback. He gave you a quarterback. He gave you a quarterback made of glass. He gonna miss 5 games. He's gonna be injured every year. He gave you Austin Jackson. He gave you Igbenogany, who's a healthy scratch most of the time, bro. What did he give you? That's exactly what Lewis was just talking to y'all about. When you could have turned this franchise around, that's what he gave us, bro.
What happened in the 2nd round in that draft?
Hunt. That's probably the best player that we got on this team. Robert Hunt.
Yeah, and after that?
So we're going to give him credit for a guard?
No. He's had decent drafts. You know what I mean? He did mess that 1st round up. I agree. And Austin Jackson, I probably understand.
How about this one? How about the Eichenberg selection? The capital that you gave up. And I know this dude had to have been in Applebaum's ear for this guy to start because there's nothing that told you that guy should have been the starting lineup to begin with. And everybody's so near friendly, and they hate how this offensive line plays.
Are you changing your profile picture and your name every couple of minutes?
That's right, damn it. I don't believe y'all can say what y'all want about Tom Brady. He's washed up. He's not the same guy, but he was 3rd in passing, and he was 2nd in yards in the 1st week of the playoffs, bro. That tells me the dude still has it. He's just going through divorce. I say, call up Tom Brady and tell him come to Miami, strap on the helmet, put your cleats on, and let's get it done.
He publicly said, I'm not going to the booth till 2024. I think he's leaving the door open for one more year to play in the NFL.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, it's there. Go talk to him, bro. This guy is a guy that is on the ropes, and he is a person that's just, he's dealing with life, bro. Bring TB12 to Miami, bro.
Noob.
I won't want
They've had 9 offensive line coaches in 10 years. It's eventually got to come to fruition. Eventually, it's got to hit that there's a good offensive line coach
somewhere.
I'm not sitting here saying I don't believe in Tua's abilities. I don't care about stats. All I care about is this on your screen right now, bro. If you say you love Tua and you're a Tua there, don't ever forget that hit right there. That tells you everything you need to know as far as if you want that guy to be a franchise quarterback. He is not a franchise quarterback.
Anything else?
That's right. Every time y'all want to bring up stats and feed me Tua, I'm going to throw up the Tua game picture.
Is you finished or is you done?
Because that was his 2nd concussion after the 1st undiagnosed one.
That's wild, boy.
Days. That's what that was.
Tua game.
He was punch drunk this year. He was. It happened. That's why they signed him out.
That's
for the
not a
rest of the year.
franchise quarterback. That's all I got to say. 5 games, that's 5 games too many.
Anything
And next year,
else?
the AFC is going to be even more competitive.
How many did
Because
they
John
lose this year?
Watson is going to be in Cleveland. Good luck with him missing 5 games and trying to sneak into the playoffs of what we did this year. It's going to be another year down the toilet. Don't give me TB12. I'm not waiting on Tua. See y'all later.
Peace.
That was exhausting.
Bye.
That was exhausting.
That was just straight hate.
Was
There's not a lot of logic going
and
on.
disrespect.
I mean, any
disrespect.
self-respecting Dolphins fan who wants Tom Brady, y'all, we're just in different worlds. I mean, I respect Tom. Brady.
I ain't gonna lie. I think Tom Brady actually gives us the best chance next year, personally.
What?
Yes, 100%.
He's done. That's why
he's not washed.
Down. He's washed.
Look, Tom's not coming. He's gonna stay retired. My personal opinion. But
he wouldn't. If we don't fix the line, he wouldn't survive a full season either. With the behind that line, bro. Come on, man.
I mean, there's truth in that too.
Come on.
All right, let me bring in Crypto.
46.
What do you want, hot dog eating man?
When the last time Tom Brady's been hurt for a whole season?
Don't worry, we'll wait.
He's at least played 17 games every year.
Yeah, but he
16.
wasn't 46.
So therefore, this whole narrative that Tom Brady only declined based on Tom Brady standards, because he's still better than 90% of the league, even in his declined year.
He can't fight his own battles. He had to leave someone on the panel to go back in his 2 versus 1. That's not true. I mean, there might be some truth. I just didn't want to deal with the malarkey this morning.
I'm being here, and mind you, I've been here, and I've agreed with a lot of the callers.
Yeah.
So
noob.
We're not jumping anymore.
Go ahead, Crypto.
Steven, do you like purgatory?
Do I like purgatory?
Yes, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun in purgatory here. You need to go talk to the Greek god of Hades and tell him that you don't wish to go there.
Greek god of haters? Yes, that would be Lewis. Lewis is the Greek god of haters.
No, I said Hades because that's what you're destined to go to.
I hear haters. Okay, that's what I hear. I hear haters.
You need to cross the river Styx and go onto the good side and stop all this. What you call it? I'm giving you a lesson in Greek mythology and translate it to the Dolphins world here.
Greek mythology. You're a Tua hater just like the rest of them. Every last one of them.
That's your definition of Tua hater. Then so be it. Because I don't like purgatory, Stephen.
Well, how am I in purgatory?
It's the Miami Dolphins is nothing but the brand new Chicago Cubs of 1908. They're constantly going to live this freaking dream for 108 years and then finally get it. In the next century, that's probably when they'll finally win their first Super Bowl.
So you're trying to say 2073, 2072 is our year?
All right, so
no, 2080, because that's a 108-year gap between championships.
So hold up, Ty. That is my biggest fear as a Dolphins fan, is to be in a 100-year drought. Like that is my biggest fear, that I am living in the alternate universe.
Well, Stephen, we already 50 years in.
No, we're 49 years in. They won in 73.
Yeah, but that was a 72 season. This is 50 years.
That's 100 years.
So we already halfway there. So with this line of thinking and not holding our management accountable, 50 years will go by the blink of an eye, and we'll be at 100.
So 57 years more is what you're saying then, right?
Yes, 57 years more.
Right,
that could come and go in a heartbeat.
All right, so hold on.
Really?
So
You're right.
57 plus 34. I will be 91 years old when the Dolphins win another Super Bowl. I pray that
I'll be 100. If I'm still alive, I'll be 105.
I pray the
91 years old when the Dolphins finally win a Super Bowl.
You might as well get some discounts and get your wheelchairs and cane now, your walking cane or walking stick. So
you have depressed me to the lowest form, Crypto. I'm so upset right now.
Insure.
So upset.
Oh man.
Crypto's sitting there telling me I'll be 91 years old when the Dolphins finally win a Super Bowl.
I'm just saying, Steven, they got us on this trajectory, and it's like a hamster spinning our wheels, man. It's
my fat ass will not be alive at 91. I'm
we
saying
did
that
a we took a
yeah, you will. You'll be here, Steven. We'll be sitting. Matter of fact, we'll go to the Baltimore game together. And 2080, we'll go there and root.
We're not sitting in the last row of the top level for the greatest comeback. That's not going to happen.
And at that time, it'll be Tua's great grandchildren quarterbacking our team.
Oh my God!
Think about it.
The worst. The
worst. So we got something to look forward to, Steven.
Not only do I have to deal with 67 years of losing, I have to deal with 67 more years of Tua talk because his great grandchildren are going to be the quarterback of the Dolphins. Please don't let that happen. What did I do wrong? Now I am in purgatory, and I just want to know why. What did I do to deserve this?
I don't know, Steven. What do we all do to deserve that one? Because that you want to talk about being stuck in a matrix. The Dolphins have put us in the matrix.
Boy, that's Groundhog Day. That ain't the Matrix. That's Groundhog Day, son. That's every day.
Yeah, that's Groundhog Day. And you know when Bill Murray walked out and he tried not to step in the hole and he doubled back and stepped in the hole anyways?
Yeah, that's us every time.
That's what happens to us every time, Steven. We double back and step in the same hole. We know the hole is there, and we still freaking go back and step in it anyways.
Tua's not the hole to me. Because when Tannehill was there. And
Lewis said, did somebody say 65 years of Tua talk? I'm out. Tua's great-great-grandson is now the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, and this year might be their year. Will they have a chance?
Will they have this? That's it. There you go. And his great grandchildren.
We got to wrap up the show today. I can't with y'all.
I know. I had to just put a time horizon on our expectations. It's not about this year. It's about 2080, Steven. That's the goal.
Crypto, are you getting a box, Crypto? Because nobody got we need to fill up these boxes.
Okay. Yes, I'm going to go with 44. No, somebody got that one. 34 then.
Send your money through Cash App and PayPal.
Man, somebody got 44, man.
First person to send their money through Cash App and PayPal will get it. Okay.
Because that 3 and 4 is a real good number. Because you look at the two teams that's playing, you think it's going to be a lot of extra points and freaking 2-point conversions?
I want 34 and 37. I got dibs on.
And I got one more person, Crypto. Get out of here. Go get whoever Ty Bless or you send me the money first, unless somebody swoops in at the last second. You got to send your money in on PayPal and Cash App, and you'll get your 34. Just put your name in the box number in there, and you'll get 34. Go eat a bunch of hot dogs.
I got you, man. I got you. I love you, man. Be good, Steven. Don't stretch yourself out. We got 57 more years to do this thing, man.
I would never do such a thing. Get out of here, Crypto. I got to go. One more person.
Uh-oh.
You got anything to say, sir? What do you have to say to me, Joe?
Wait, before he starts, he said he's going to blaze us. I read the comments, so blaze us. Sit back, bro. Relax. Take a deep breath, Steve. He drank some water and everything. Holy shit. We done. Uh-oh.
Okay, so where do I start? Where do I start?
Holy shit.
Where do I start? From the land of hypocrisy. Clearly you love purgatory. So I'm not even going to raise my voice.
You're reading from the book of hypocrisy?
Yeah.
Verse 1, chapter 1?
Yeah, chapter flip-flop. All right, here we go. From the land. Yes, from the land of flip-flopping, where
you gotta read from the book, and it needs to be like you're reading from
exactly from the land. I'm reading from the land of flip-flop, where no closed-toed shoes are allowed. No shoes. Actually, no footwear with backs on them are allowed. You must be able to just kick them off at any point, right?
Hence flip-flop.
Yeah, exactly. Gotcha. So, and in the land of flip-flop, you could have regular flip-flops or you can have thong flip-flops. Either or, right? We'll keep it sexy.
You know, Von Joe's a foot person now.
Hey. Now, let's see. Let's start off with Jimmy G, just for fun. Let's bring another another high price backup.
You wear flip flops, Ty, my guy.
Exactly. There he is. That can't stay healthy, right? And for QB1, that can't stay healthy, right? And redo it again. But we're okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's go ahead and not have faith in Skyler, who is a quarterback on this team. Let's not support him. Let's call him trash, but we're not allowed to call QB1 trash, and you have to support QB1 at all costs. Okay. Hypocrisy. Check.
Who said that?
That's what Steven's been doing. He's been dogging QB2, which is Skyler.
QB3.
I'm not dogging him. I'm just saying I don't
He
want
is
him.
QB2. Was he our backup? Yes or no?
I don't want him as the backup. I want him as
he wasn't QB3. He got elevated to QB2.
He was the QB3, bro.
No, he wasn't.
Bridgewater was 2.
Teddy got dropped down to QB3. That's why Teddy didn't play the Jets
game. Because he got hurt.
But he still got dropped down to QB3.
Because he wasn't available. But yeah.
He was available. He got dropped down to QB3. Who's behind Skyler?
Teddy was because he
okay, thank you. QB3. Check.
But go ahead. It's okay. It's semantics.
Check.
It's semantics.
Okay. All right. So again, I'm not trying to raise. I'm still not trying to raise my voice, but okay. Again, stay with me, guys. Stay with me. So okay. So it's hard. It's hard. That's what she said. Pause. Now, when it comes to what was the other comment? The salary cap. Yeah, let's go get running backs.
It's not real.
Let's go get linemen.
Yep.
Because the salary cap is not real. Oh, but wait. It does become real when we talk about going to get a quarterback.
I never said
that could replace Tua, because all of a sudden,
there's a
car would be the bag.
There's a big difference between $12 million for Jimmy Garoppolo.
You've been talking crap for the past. Again, Steven, I'm not trying to raise my voice, but again, I've been listening to you, Cap, for the past 3 hours and 16 minutes and counting. So, again, Carr would be too expensive. He'll be the bag. Meanwhile, Carr come the 15th.
I didn't say Carr was getting 50 or 60. I said he was probably getting 25.
I didn't say, whoa. I said you said that he would cost us the bag.
He would get a quote unquote bag. Yes.
Yes, that's what you said.
Okay, that is what I said.
And meanwhile, Carr becomes and we'll have to give up assets for Carr. That's what you said. Meanwhile, sir, can I finish?
I said that if he clears waivers, if team doesn't want to pay that contract, you would have to.
So again, on the 15th, we will find out how much Carr will become a free agent.
If he gets released and clears waivers, which I predict that he will, which is why I said all morning, if you decide to go after Carr, I would be okay. Like it wouldn't. Okay, I don't think I'd be upset. But you don't think that the Jets
Aaron Rodgers Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers would cost the bag and would cost an arm and a leg all of a sudden, because that's when the salary cap becomes real, is when you talk about quarterback. But hey, again, I understand. But besides that, I mean, let's spend $20 million on quarterbacks, and that can't stay healthy. Let's rinse and repeat. I'm repeating.
Massive difference between $50 million for Lamar and Rodgers and spending money on a running back, O-line, middle linebacker. Because even if we pay Rodgers and Lamar, we create more holes and can't fill existing ones.
So,
thank you, Nando.
So that's when the salary cap becomes real.
There's a quarterback difference.
There's a big difference. Hold on. So is there a big difference between real and unreal? Which one?
You know why?
Which one? Wait. Is it real? No, hold on. It's real or it's not.
That's Steven. You got to answer that one, Steven. I didn't ever say.
I don't want to answer it because everything that I have told Von Joe is when it comes to Lamar or Aaron, you're going to have to pay 50 to 60 million. And yes, I believe that the salary cap is big, but there's a way to maneuver things, and there's a way to not.
Okay,
and 50 or 60 million to one player allows you to maneuver things less likely, and it makes it a lot harder. But you're paying somebody 25 million.
Figure that issue out.
Away with some stuff. But
if it's not real,
figure it out. Bringing in Jimmy G at 12 million. I don't care. You're going to be able to fill all the rest of the needs that you have.
So Skylar is also injury prone.
You can call me.
So you said Skylar was injury prone. Hold on. You said Skylar was injury prone.
You're killing me, Von Joe.
You said Skylar was injury prone. That's why you prefer Jimmy, who is
Jimmy
12.
Is my number one. Gardner Minshew,
$12 million.
Baker Mayfield, probably number 3.
So hold on. I'm not done. So Gardner Minshew come in and hold it down. Meanwhile, Gardner Minshew, who took over for Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles have a complete team, and Gardner Minshew garnered how many wins? Oh yeah, 0. Yeah. So he could definitely come to Miami and win with a team with holes in it, and he had a complete team in Philly and dropped the ball twice.
Why are we gonna have holes next year? We shouldn't have holes next year.
Again, Gardner dropped the ball twice, and we keep saying that Hurts just have this magical team around him. Gardner Minshew shit the bed twice.
Needed more credit.
But no. If he comes to Miami because of the Miami sun and the ozone is different here, oh yeah, he's gonna exceed. I got you.
You are such a freaking hypocrite, brother.
Sir, this is what you said
right now.
No, this is what you're saying.
Matter of fact, Lewis, I'm taking back your mantle. I'm giving it to Von Joe. Von Joe, you are the biggest Tua hater of them all.
Steven.
Biggest one of them all.
How am I a Tua hater, sir?
You're
I'm repeating what you told me. I'm repeating what you said.
It's you.
But, Steven, this is what you're telling us. Bring in Minshew.
No. I refuse. I'm not playing this game.
Why? He's trash.
I refuse. Team Von Joe.
He's trash.
There ain't no Team Von Joe.
Again, Minshew is trash.
Von Joe, how would you handle this as the GM of the Miami Dolphins?
Go get my guy.
Who?
Who's your guy?
A starting quarterback, a franchise quarterback, a real franchise quarterback. I don't give a damn who it is. Go get it. Figure that out. Listen, you can be an owl all you want. All right. Again, we have a GM that we paid. We got a GM we paid 7 figures. I don't care if it's Rodgers. I don't care if it's Rodgers. I don't care if it's
I'll take Rodgers.
If it's Carr, if it's whatchamacallit? Who's that other guy? Lamar Jackson. Go get the franchise guy. Jeez. At this point, as long as he plays 17 games, I'll take him.
Lamar didn't play 17 games last year. Or the year
we know why. We know why Lamar didn't play. Anyways, but semantics. So what else? So what else? Where see again? Where are we? Where because again, this
just got 4 boxes. He got 34, 71.
He got 4 boxes. That's gonna be one hell of an orgy. Shout out to him. 4 boxes.
He got 34, 71, 37, and 40.
Hold on. Exactly. Some Blue Chew. Or some royal honey if you want to take the natural route, but either that's semantics. That's neither here or there.
For that one, I need that too.
When it comes to where are we? The RGM.
That's what it always boils down to, Steven. There's complaints, but there's never a solution presented.
RGM. Let's talk about RGM.
And how will it happen? Because that price will be high money and picks.
Yeah, because the I know I get it, Nando. The salary cap is real when it comes to talking about Tua Budalova. But anyways, Mr. Tua can't stand up.
Get on Nando a little bit because Nando's not even here to
Nando's writing all this in Tua thongs right now, so I'm not gonna get on him. I'm not gonna talk to a man that wears Tua thongs, and I'm not talking about slippers. When I'm pretty sure he has a onesie over that Tua tongue too. But when it comes to this notion about RGM and how Philly built this great team around Jalen Hurts, did RGM not have the same opportunity to build a great team?
We'll say that again.
Everybody keeps saying that Jalen Hurts is so wonderful because he has a team built around him, correct?
Yeah.
Did RGM, he had the same opportunity and the same time frame to build a great team around Tua? They got picked in the same draft, Stephen.
Yeah, but that team was
he had, and I'm pretty sure he had way more picks.
I'll say this.
Hold on. And I'm pretty sure
because they went to a Super Bowl. They went to a Super Bowl, won it, tore it completely down, and built it back up.
Exactly.
And back to a Super Bowl.
Exactly. So, and if I'm correct, we have constantly picked higher in the draft than Philly. Yet they were still able to build a complete team around their quarterback. Meanwhile,
Howie did a better job.
We are still playing this sock and puppet game with these Muppets.
Sock
and puppet, and you create a Muppet because all we're doing is have our hands up our arse and being talking heads out here. Because again, what are we doing? Because this is the hypocrisy that we keep living in, this purgatory that we love to live in as Dolphin fans. But don't worry, it's going to be better this year. We're running it back with Tua, right? And he's magically going to stay healthy 17 games. And but if he does it, and if he gets hurt on his own again, right? Because the O-line actually held up their blocks, and he decides to go get himself hurt.
That's true. Extending the plays like he.
Yeah, and hopefully he learns how to fall, right? Because during the offseason, I heard he's taking lessons on how to fall.
Or get rid of the ball.
Right. So he did get rid of the ball in the Green Bay game. He just didn't know how to fall correctly. I don't know how you don't know how to fall because basic kids know how to fall with their hands out, but somehow our quarterback hits the soft spot on the back of his head. But anyways, neither here or there.
I think I'll be honest with you. I think Tua has his spine is part of his neurological issue.
I think it's the fact that he is playing backwards is the part of the issue. He's natural. He does everything. No, seriously, he does everything right-handed. But he throws left-handed. So when he's falling on a football field, he's doing things. He's doing everything. He's fighting against nature. He's fighting against. He's falling inverse almost. So that could be the reason why he keeps getting hurt. Again, I blame his father. But that's neither here. I blame his father, but that's neither here or there.
Blamed his father.
I blame his father.
He made him throw left-handed.
Yeah. His father is the one that forced him to throw left-handed.
Acted like he was he's on some.
I updated the box. Up there.
So again, I blame his father. He should have forgot the face of his father.
By the way, boxes are up there, guys. Get your boxes, $25 per box.
Stop talking about vagina out here.
New Breed took my numbers.
Stop talking about vagina out here. Talking about boxes. Because I'm still going through checking out boxes here. Because Steven, if we go ahead and go into next year, bring in Jimmy G, right? Why would you say Jimmy G doesn't have the confidence in himself to go and start somewhere else, right? Versus let's go play with Tyreek Hill and Waddle for 4 games.
Because
just to go sit back in the bench afterwards. Why? Explain that to me. Why if Jimmy G is a competitor?
No, hold on. Let me finish. According to the Pro Football Focus, which is what I was reading from, they projected Jimmy Garoppolo having a 1-year, $12 million deal. What was it? It was here. I want to make sure I say.
How old is Jimmy G?
Hold on. It was.
I'll find out for you.
I was gonna say, isn't he the same age as the other porn star, Ron Jeremy?
No, he's not that young.
Porn star Jimmy. Porn star Jimmy is like the same age as I think him and
he's 31.
31. Okay, so him and Scott are the same age. Cool.
So 1 year, $15 million, 12 guaranteed. Okay.
Okay.
So if that's the case, 1 year, 15 mil, 12 guaranteed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Add that to
if
2.
Pro Football
9,
Focus
right?
is projecting that, why wouldn't the Dolphins raise their hand and say, "Come here, we'll give you that. We'll pay you whatever. We'll pay you that."
No, but why would he want to come here and sit on the bench?
Because he's guaranteed to play a minimum of 4 games according to the history.
Versus going to start somewhere else.
Would you rather? So let me ask you: would you rather be a backup and guaranteed to play 4 games with Tyreek and Jalen and all the weapons that we have here and a McDaniel-led offense, or go to Carolina and start there?
I'm gonna go start somewhere. I could start.
No way, bro. Not on a 1 year deal.
Steven.
No, listen, Bonjo.
No,
you listen. If he goes to Carolina or he goes to the Jets, they're paying him a bag. They're giving him bank. If he goes on a 1 year deal, he's not going to either one of those teams. He's not.
Steven.
The only way you go there is if they give you the bag and a long-term
BS.
Deal.
Steven.
That's not BS.
I don't care what Sports Track says. At the end of the day, if you get a deal, if you get a deal from a team that sit there and say, "Hey, we'll give you 1 year to be a starter," versus 1 year to be on a bench.
Okay, so would you rather take your chances of being an every down starter with the Carolina Panthers, or would you rather?
Do I have confidence in myself and my abilities? Yes, I'm gonna go start.
I would.
If I'm a $2 Muppet
in Miami, and the moment Tua goes down, which is guaranteed to happen, I would get to play with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Of course, I would go to Miami. Are y'all kidding me?
Do you hear yourself?
No, do you hear yourself? You want to go play with Carolina? Are you kidding me?
I'd rather go start somewhere.
See, y'all putting too much stock into this. I want to be a starter. No, I want to be successful, and I would be more successful.
Yes, I'm going to be successful. Yeah, I'm going to be successful doing this all day.
So,
yeah, all right.
So Bonjo, you're in your scenario. Let's say Carolina. Is he being a first? Is he being?
You didn't see that slant? I saw.
Is he getting? You didn't see the slant? Bonjo, listen.
How come you didn't see the slant?
You're not listening.
No, I'm not listening because you're talking nonsense.
No, you're talking nonsense. Let me ask you something, sir. In your scenario, are the Carolina Panthers giving him a long-term deal or a 1 year deal?
It doesn't matter whether it's long or short.
But it does matter.
I'd rather start as a
football player him a long-term deal.
Steven,
then yes,
what football player does not want to start?
If the Panthers are giving him a 1 year deal. I would rather go play in Miami.
Ty, you look like a brother with sense, and we both have red on.
Matters.
Okay, so if Ty, would a football player in the NFL rather start or
they'd rather start
or be on the bench?
They'd rather start. They're gonna want to play. They're gonna want to play no matter what. It's fact.
Like, what are you gonna tell him? Unless you're gonna sell him, hey, Jimmy G, he's gonna go down.
After sitting behind Trey Lance and being benched by Trey Lance, they gave him his job basically. I don't see him wanting to go somewhere just to be on the bench.
Time out, Ty. If Jimmy G gets anything over 20 million in multiple years, he's going there.
Yeah, no doubt.
If Jimmy G is only offered 1 year deals at less than 20 million, Miami better be one of those people in line giving him 1 year deal less than 20 mil. And according to PFF, they're saying he's guaranteed 12 mil and 15.
I want to address something. I want to address something that Anthony Manzano is saying. I've been looking at it over and over again. He said Aaron Rodgers said in multiple interviews that if Miami
I gotta go. I gotta run to this meeting.
No, listen now you're running.
Oh no, I gotta go. I got my headset on. I gotta go. This pays the bills. I'm out. Dolphins don't pay jack squat around here.
Hey, can you tell the people to hit the donate button and hit the like button? And you just walked away. How dare you, Vonjo?
Look,
how dare you?
But he was saying that Aaron Rodgers would be willing to renegotiate and make it, I guess, a more team-friendly contract.
He said on Pat McAfee's show that he would take lesser money to play on a Super Bowl. I think if Aaron Rodgers wants to be in Miami, I do believe that. He wants to. But he in no way, shape, the Dolphins aren't doing that. He wants to be in Miami. Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers could choose where he plays next year, Dolphins would be at the first of his list. They'd be at the top, guaranteed. Miami, they're not paying him. They're not trading what it would cost to go get him, and B, they're not giving him $50 million plus a year. So he said, I'll do less. Well, what is less? Are we talking 20 mil a year? Are we talking 30 mil, 40 mil? What would you take? If the Dolphins were told, hey, you got to give up 2 first-round draft picks, but I'll sign for 20 mil, 30 mil. I think the Dolphins will consider it, but again, you still have to give up the bag to go for him because the Packers are going to want 2 first-round picks. They're going to want multiple stuff. They are 100%.
It's crazy.
100%.
You know what, man? I can't wait to see what happens, brother. I can't wait.
It is. It's going to be fun, man. Ty, your final thought of the day, man.
My final thought of the day is, we all would have our scenarios play out how we want them to play out. You know what I'm saying? I'm a company guy. What the Dolphins say they're going to do, if they have a plan in place, I believe in it. I think they're going to stick. Hope we can protect Tua. Tua can protect himself. And I know that Greer, his job is on the line, so we're not going to stand pat with the two QBs that we have. There will be another guy in the building. I just can't wait to see who it's going to be.
Ty, man, I appreciate you coming on today, man. You got to come on more often. I definitely liked having you on. According to Noob, you were here so that I wouldn't have to fight. He didn't obviously look at last week when I was fighting everybody on by myself.
Yeah,
solo dolo last week against the world. Yeah, man. All right, Ty, I appreciate you coming on today, man. It was
See you
fun.
again, Steve.
All right, man. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. If you liked what you saw today, donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. Can't grow without your help. If you're interested in the box pool, do the box pool, $25 per block on Cash App or PayPal. Again, I updated New Breeds up there. He got 4 boxes. So get your boxes. I want to fill this bad boy up. On Cash on Twitter and everything. I'm gonna, if y'all can retweet this or send this to other people, say, hey, look, go do this. It definitely helps. Want to raise some money for the channel too. You guys can donate. If you like the show today, donate, even if it's $1. If you like the show today, donate $5. If you like today's show, donate $5 to the channel right now. YouTube, wherever, it doesn't matter. If you like today's show. If you liked it, go back and watch. If you missed any part of it, it was a lot of fun today. I enjoyed it. Wednesday, tomorrow's Wildin' Out Wednesday. We're going to do this again, but it'll be a full panel this time. And, bands will be in effect and you'll be able to kick people off. And, it gets a little crazy here. Finish him. It'll be fun tomorrow. I'm super excited about it. Should be a lot of fun. Wildin' Out Wednesday. Hope you all enjoyed everything. It is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Flip-floppers, cat blockers, clock blockers. Hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds the gift. He know when to go with fits.